Hi there. That's a weird background. I was playing with backgrounds before.
Hi.
That's a weird background. Let me change it. Hi.
Hi.
So sorry. Here, video settings. Let me go back to my regular background. I changed background camera because lately I've been staring up from a different place, but I didn't mean to give that other background in there. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm so sorry. Um, I had forgotten my glasses in the house and I had to run back to the house to get them. Sorry, I opened up a little bit late and I'm running. I don't know if you can hear, but I ran back in. Um, it used to be that I taught out of my living room, but now I've made this little basically glorified shed in the backyard that is where I teach from, which is wonderful. But now when I leave something in the house, I have to run over to get it. Um, and I had left my glasses in the house. Okay. So, everyone go to the chat, please, like Blast did, and give me a little hello. So, good afternoon. Nice to see everyone. And I'm going to put this up top and this under so that I can see you guys. There we go. All right. Welcome. Uh, let's see. Colette and Rodney. Hi, Georgia. Hi, Yolanda. Yolanda, I missed you last week. Hope you're okay. Alan, Blas, and Marta. So, yeah, I don't know why this class suddenly became so small, but hopefully it's fulfilling your needs, I guess is the question. Why would people stop coming? I'm surprised by that. So if there's anything that I'm not explaining or that you want to know, that's not, I know sometimes I
No,
I did start this time with the whole first class was all about the cloud and whatever. And I know that when I do that, sometimes I turn some people off from thinking it's about the photos. And then, that's probably what's happening. Other times I, I know to start later with that, but, oh well, maybe I did scare some people off the first day with that conversation. Too bad. Hopefully they'll come back. Other than that, here we are. Before I start with today's class, any questions of anything that came up, anything that you guys want to know? Whoops, bringing out the phone. Anything you want to know or do or say before we get going? Nope.
Uh, yes, were you, oh, you need to, hang on.
Yeah. Oh, looks like you guys are in the same room. So one of you guys has to turn off the sound and then enable it. Me Blast's sound is off.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that's working. That's working.
It's
Okay.
working now.
Okay.
I'm connect.
Um, when we ended the class last time, I was asking you about a shared
Oh.
folder.
Yeah, and you also, or someone also asked, maybe it was Georgia, about uh sharing photos. I don't know who asked. I know Georgia, you wanted his location services on, but someone asked about sharing a photo without all that information. And I don't know if it was also Georgia or someone else asked that. Um, so I did look into that. So Marta, the question about shared folders, hang in there, albums, because I need to first explain albums. Okay, so we're going to head into that. And then I'll explain shared albums if once I explain albums. But the question of how to share a photo and not have it contain all of the metadata, that's something that I want to talk about now. Hold on, my new camera. I gotta. It's the old camera, the one I used to use, but I haven't set it up. And I finally set it up, but it's a bit weird. Okay. All right. So we're going to talk about the rest of the features that come automatic with the program. And then we're going to start talking about albums. Albums is what we do to organize and set up the files so that it looks the way we want it to and find the stuff that we want to find. We use albums and keywords. So we're going to do that. That's my late reminder that class is starting. So we're going to talk about those two things, and then first we want to keep seeing what's available as is, even if we do nothing, to keep finding our photos. And so we already found that we can find them through the metadata, right? That's in there. We see the metadata on the computer by clicking on the little icon for info, and we see the metadata on the phone by pulling the photo up a little bit with our finger, and then right under that we see all the metadata. Okay, so that's now how do we use that metadata to search for our stuff, and then when do we decide that that's not enough, that we want to make our own collections of things, and that's where we're going to start making our own albums. Okay, so Marta, can you keep hanging on to that question? Not that I don't want to answer it, but I just want to make sure that we have the whole album conversation before we start with the shared album, which, by the way, just for a quick answer, a shared album is one that you can share with people you want, right? You email them, you message them, and you say, hey, join my album, and they get to be part of that album. But not all your photos, just one subset of photos that you create in order to share it with people, maybe your family members. And every time that you have a cute new granddaughter photo, you put it in there or something like that. And then anyone who's been invited to share can see it. And depending on how you set up the album, they can also put their own photos in there. So that's all depending on settings. Okay. But first we need to create some albums. All right. So, but I do know that we went into the location, into the privacy settings, into location settings in order to um, tell our computer and our camera that we wanted the camera, that when it takes a photo, that we wanted it to record the information of when it was taken and where it was taken. Okay. So we did that last week. If anyone still has questions about that, the big question around that is always, well, when I share that photo, does everyone have information? Well, first of all, if you share it on social media, that gets stripped away, which is why those photos of the wedding in Paris that I showed last week, when I downloaded them from social media, I don't know if I downloaded them from Facebook or Instagram, or probably those are the two that that group shares too. They came in empty of everything. And the date that said September 14th, I looked it up. That's not when the wedding was. That's the date I downloaded them. So I don't even know the date that wedding happened. If I download those photos, they are empty of anything. And that date was because I downloaded them on September 14th. Then I incorporated them into this photo app. Yeah, 2 days before today. So the day that the class happened, the other day. So if the other day was Monday, on Sunday I incorporated into here, which is why they were the last things that I had recently saved. But I had downloaded them September 14th. And that's why that was the only information on that. Now when I go look at them, so here is those photos again, right? So they said September 14th, and they had a file number, and then they had no location, and I added the word Paris. So added, but see how there's no camera information, no lens information. The only information I had was the date, which it turned out is not even right. It's just the date that I downloaded it from social media. So if you take any of these photos and share on social media, it'll get stripped of information. So then that leaves with what if you share it to by text or by email? Well, the good news is that by text, um, you can separate the location information. I'm going to share that in a minute. And by email, by Apple email, you can as well. So if I were to email this photo to me right now, let me show you how to do that. I'm going to select this photo, and I'm going to head over to this little arrow. So let me just show you what arrow I'm talking about. There's an hold on. There's an arrow, a shape that in every single app on the computer, on the Macintosh, on a phone, on Apple, any Apple device, the little box with an arrow going up means send it up, out, share it. It's the share icon. It's to the cloud. That same icon with a down arrow means download, put into my computer. Okay. So it's an icon that with the arrow up means you're taking it out of your computer and sending it somewhere. And with the arrow down means you're bringing it in from the internet or in from your email into your computer. Does that make sense? So we're going to send it out. So that's the share icon. So I'm going to click on that share icon. And I had selected one photo, so that's the one I'm going to send. Remember, this one photo only has the information of location right now. It doesn't have any other information. Well, it has a date and location, but it doesn't say which camera took it. I didn't add keywords, captions, titles, nothing right now. All it knows is where it was taken. So when I click on that share, I'm going to mail it. Now, this mail app is the Mac Mail app. Let me actually reshare my screen so you see my entire window because you need to go see what happens. Okay, so when I click on Mail, my Mail app opened. For those of you who just took that class with me where I showed you Mail, see how the Mail opened all the way through? Not only did the Mail app open, but on top of that, a new email got created with that photo attached. And it's ready for me to say, who do you want to send it to? Okay. Now, I tested sending this to myself, to another one of my emails, and when I picked it up, it was stripped of information. Okay, so you guys go ahead and do that. Send it to one of your emails. Send it from one email to another email, and if you set up these things when we did it together in class, I think all of you were in that class. Maybe not Owen. Um, it comes from one email address and send it to another of your email addresses. So I'm going to send it to SBCC teacher at Gmail. So I'm sending it for pipeline to SBCC teacher. And I'm going to say testing metadata. Okay, so select a photo, send it from one email to another of yours. And then by the way, select a photo that has metadata. So make sure you chose a photo that has metadata attached to it. Don't go choose one that doesn't have anything attached to it. Like, otherwise it wouldn't work. Choose one that has location, maybe camera information, and then go ahead and use that one to attach. Now, the other choice that we have is the size. Do you want to send it small, medium, large, or actual size? In this case, since it was already small because it came from the internet, it doesn't give me the choice of large, but I can send it medium, actual size, or small. So I can still make that choice. I'm going to go ahead and it doesn't matter what size, so I'm going to send it small, meaning the metadata would come or not. And right now it doesn't matter, so I'm going to send it small. And then I'm going to press send. So I'm going to do this again with you guys if you need to, and I need to walk you through it. But at some point, that email is going to come in to my SBCC teacher. And when it arrives, we can download that photo and see if it came with metadata or not. And it doesn't. I checked it yesterday, but I want you guys to see that. So let me do that again with you guys. Give me a yes if you did it and completed it and were able to see the process. But in case you didn't, give me a no. I'm going to do it again to walk you through it. But if you already did it and like you sent the email, not that you received it yet, but if you sent it, then give me a yes. So I'm going to find another photo that has even more information, which is one of these. This one has file name. It has which phone took it. It has location, and it also has names. These people are specific people. They've been named. If I look up, Diana, Chris, Laura, right? So these are names. So it's a lot of information here in this metadata. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to email this one now. So I go to the Apple and I choose the Mail app. Now, some of you guys might not be using the Mail app, right? Like even though you took my class, you might be using Gmail or something like that. I don't know. I didn't research if the Gmail app if the Gmail application strips the metadata. I could do a research. I could just probably Google that and find out, but for sure this one does. So now I'm going to send it again from SPCC from pipeline to SBCC teacher, just because those are two emails that I share here. So test again, metadata. And so then after I've said who I'm sending it to from, basically from myself to myself, but to two different accounts, then I'm going to send it again. Okay. And so the first one I called testing metadata. Here it is. It arrived in SBCC teacher. Okay. So I can click on that. And here's the one that my pipeline account sent to my SBCC teacher account. And here it is. And now I'm going to show you how to download it. But first I want to make sure that everyone did that first part. So hi, Angelina. All right, guys. So hang in there for a minute, Angie. We're sharing photos with ourselves in part because I wanted to teach you how to share a photo, but also to confirm that the information is arriving stripped of metadata if you do it through the Apple Mail. And I want to make sure that everyone can check on their own. So if you were to send these photos to someone, that they don't come in with location and whatever. Now, if you do want them to come in, that's different. That's a different conversation. There's different ways of email of sending stuff. But if you don't want people to be able to trace you based on the cute photo that you sent. Now, if you upload these to social media, it won't, like, I don't have this account, the teaching account connected to social media, but just so you know, I could have here a choice to there, it could say photo, Facebook, Instagram. So if you do have your social media accounts, this computer doesn't have it. But you could send it from here straight into social media and it would work and it would be stripped of metadata. It wouldn't be there. No one would know where that photo was taken. Okay, so I'm seeing mostly yeses, some no answers, and one no for the process. We haven't yet downloaded it to check it, but right now I just want to make sure that you sent it. So Josie, Colette, Jinsu. Hi, Jinsu, by the way, I just see you there. Um, who else just arrived? That's it. Jinsu and Mary Jean and Angie arrived. Okay, so that's the process that I want you to confirm where you did. Select a photo that has metadata, and we know if it has metadata because we clicked on this little I for info, and it comes with at least location. And in my case, I had people names and stuff like that, camera that took it. And then I chose to mail it, and I went through the process of the Apple Mail opens up. Now, if what opens up for you is your Gmail app, like the computer Gmail, you have yours connected to open through Gmail. We will test it now. Send it to yourself as well, and we will test now whether it also got stripped of metadata because I don't know if Gmail does that. All right, so Mary Jean, you said no. How can I help?
on. I think you just answered it because I wasn't under. By the way, I'm sorry. I thought class started at 1:30 and I was early. I didn't know it was
Oh,
one. So,
it's okay.
so if I want to find out if there's metadata on it, I need to do the little I on top. Then I'm okay. Then I'm okay. Thanks.
Yeah, so that's just to send it. We haven't checked the other whether the one. So here, both of them arrived. I'm an SBCC teacher. Both of the ones that I sent myself arrived. This one only had the fact that it was in Paris. This one said the names of all the people. It said the location. It also said what camera took it. So I sent myself two different photos through the Apple Mail. Josie, you can do that on your phone. I know you only have your phone. I'm going to go show how to do texting on the phone, and I'm doing mail from here, but you can do mail from your phone too. But
Okay.
otherwise, when I get to the phone, I'll show you. Angelina, were you able to follow these steps?
Hi, sorry. Yes, I'm doing it now.
Okay.
I have like just really old pictures on. I haven't
Well, the
uploaded
important,
any new pictures, but they're just really old. But
okay,
yeah,
well,
I
the
I
important thing
am
is,
able to see that there's no location assigned to
okay,
it.
okay.
I was gonna try and add a title.
Okay, see the added title.
Yeah,
Go
but
ahead and most importantly, it's people tend to not want to share their location,
right,
right?
right,
So
right,
you
right,
can
right.
add a location. Remember, were you in class when we did that?
Yeah,
See that you
yeah.
have a photo with that location, you can go up
Hmm.
here to image, location, add location, or you can even, let me find one without location. Um, I don't know. here, there's one without location. In the same info window, I can just click
Mhm.
it there and assign a location. This one was happened,
Okay.
this one happened in Berkeley. I don't know the address, but I know it happened in Berkeley. There we go. I've just assigned it a location.
Okay,
And I
perfect.
then email it to my, or add a title or something.
Mhm.
But the one that people get really worried about, understandably, is about not sharing with the world the location of these photos. Sometimes you just want to make sure that people don't know exactly where you live, right? Or exactly where your granddaughter lives, or whatever. So you want to strip the location, the data. Like, who cares what camera took it? But it's mainly the location that people care about. Okay, so
Okay.
that was mailing it. So let me go to my mail app. And now, for those of you who use the mail app, and if you received it on a Gmail app, you can do this too. Let's figure out how to download this. So say that this wasn't me myself sending photos that I already own, but say that my mom just sent me photos of her my cousin's birthday party, or something that I want, a photo that I want to keep. And so I'm gonna download these from my mail app. There's a couple of different ways to do that. If you just right click, one of the choices is export straight to photos. This saves me from having to have it as a file. If I save the attachment automatically, or if I save it to the downloads folder, that turns it into a file that then I have to put into my Photos app, and then I have to delete the file. So it's like 4 steps versus if I just send it straight to Photos, I'm going to export that one to Photos. It's going to go into Photos. And there it is. Even though I already owned this photo, see, this is the one that I owned. I just sent myself that photo. Let me go and do the same thing with the next one. I'm going to go to this one. And another way is to go over here. So that one I did a right click. You can also hover. There's nothing there right now, but when I hover over this line, this little choice chances to reply or forward or whatever, but this one here is to save the photos, and I can go ahead and save export to photos again. So I've just exported both of these to photos, okay? And look at the difference here. I'm going to make it bigger. These are the two new ones. That was there before, and it said that it happened in Paris, the original one, right? The one I just sent myself has no information. You see that? This is the new one. And then that one there, let me go a bit smaller, was the one, where was which one was it here? The one where he's in front. Okay. So this one here, where's the original one? Here. This is the one that said that it happened in the New York State Fairgrounds in the snow belt of United States. What camera photographed it? And then the one that I just received because I emailed it to oh, that's a different one. Where's this one? This one. Here we go. In the Murray Snow Belt of the United States, Huberton, in the iPhone 12. When I come to the one that I just emailed myself, it has no information, no camera. We don't know who took it. All we know is the date, November 12th, that it was sent to me. See, these two have a date of when it was sent to me. It is not the date that it was taken. It is not the location it was taken in. It is not the camera that took it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, Colette, I saw
Yes.
you say no with your,
So actually, I just did this, and the ones that I downloaded appear to have made it metadata.
okay, and you did it through the mail app.
Yeah, I did it through the Mail app, and
Okay, let's go ahead and share your screen and let's follow through. I'm actually, everyone, I'm gonna clear your feedback. Can you please do that and give me a yes if you've double checked and if the metadata is missing. Okay,
so
so
these little kitchen pictures
okay,
here.
turn on your info.
If I click this one and I turn on info,
Yeah,
um,
the info is turned off now.
oh
Okay,
sorry,
as a
okay, so
location.
as a location,
Yeah.
and then this one here, if I click info, also has
It stays open. You don't need to keep opening the info window. It just stays
just
open.
change
All
it. Oh, I see.
right, so
But
let's go
and
ahead.
the original photo, let's see. Well, this may be the original one here because I just downloaded.
This one's also recently saved. Why don't you go to your library and let's choose another one really quickly.
Okay.
And that, oh, it's raw. I wonder if it, because it's raw, it's different. Can you go to just,
Maybe my camera's still in RAW.
do you have anything else that's not in raw?
Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Maybe here. Let me see. I'll just go ahead and send this one.
Hold on, can you choose something that looks different?
Oh, sure.
The one
Here, how
next to
about this
it.
one?
Yeah, but that one doesn't have data because it's a screenshot. So it has to be
Right.
a photo that you took.
Okay, we can do this one. It's not a good photo,
Okay,
but
and it has a address and it says Apple iPhone 16. Okay, and it was taken on November 10th. All right,
okay,
today.
so let's send that one
And by mail.
through mail to, um, let's see here. I'm gonna send it to this one.
Okay, and it's different than the one you're sending it from, just to make sure that. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
wait, hold on. Here on the, just for a second, I'm checking. Can you change the size? I'm wondering if it might make any difference when you say actual size here on the far right. Um,
Okay, hold on a second because I'm looking at, okay, a whole bunch of
okay,
Zoom stuff there.
can
One
make it
second.
smaller, grab it from there and make it smaller.
Yeah, here we go. Okay, so,
Oh, if we were in the mail app, not in the photos, you just pulled up the photos app. So go back to the mail app. Yeah. So over
okay,
here, do you see where it says actual size?
yep.
Go ahead and click on that and send yourself a small one just
Small
because
one.
I made it big anyway. For now, for the
Okay,
test, and then go ahead and send and give it a, well, you don't have to give it a subject, but it's going to tell you that you need it. But never mind, say send anyway without a subject. Okay.
and now we'll just have to wait for it to,
Yeah. And
actually it'll probably come faster because it's
because
a
it's,
small.
yeah. All right. You know that if you click on this, you
Here
can
we go.
force a pickup. There it is. Okay.
Okay, so now I'm gonna
Right click and
fix it.
download or export to photos. Okay, let's go check it. It's
Okay, so yeah, there's no metadata there now.
now what I like, so this one it didn't work, but this one you did send yourself and you said that it didn't work. So you know how I had you change the size? Go ahead
Yeah.
and we're gonna stop sharing. You test yourself. What if you send it actual size? I'm wondering if actual size sends the actual photo.
Hmm.
So this worked, but I also had you change the size. Go ahead and send it to yourself again, actual size. I'm going to stop your share. You do it and then tell us what happened.
Okay.
Well, I
All
have.
right.
All right, good point. Everyone else, did you all download what you sent yourself and you tested it and it's got no data? Give me a yes if it all worked for you. Otherwise, we need to see if maybe Colette's settings need something, but for the most part, it should work just because you're sending it through Apple Mail. Okay.
Okay, so
All right. So now I'm going to start. I did start my share and I'm going to pick up my phone. And now I'll show you how to do that same thing on the phone, but also I'm going to have you text this photo on the phone and you'll see how it works as well. So let me share my phone because on the phone, you need to do something in particular. It doesn't, if you send it on its own, it'll come with metadata. So you need to change what you're doing. So we can do it two ways. I'm going to start with from the Photos app. You can also start from the Messages app, but let's start from the Photos app to show you how to do it. And it's a bit harder to see if something has metadata here or not because you have to select it and then you have to pull up, right? And turns out this one has no metadata. So I'm going to pull down and I'm look for another one and I'm going to pull up. And that one has no metadata. So I don't need to keep pulling up and down. I can just pull up and keep going until I find one that has metadata. Here, this one. This one has metadata. Okay. And it tells me it's in near it's the Arc the Triunfo, it's the Triumph Arc in Barcelona. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to mail or message this, but the feature that I want to teach you is in messaging and texting. Okay. So again, if I were to send this to someone, I need to look for that same icon, the icon that's pointing upwards, right? Do you know where, can you see where that is
No.
on my phone? let me clear your answers. Look at my phone. You don't see that?
Lower left.
Yeah, so lower left, right here.
Okay.
Let me move this out of the way. There's that share button. Okay. So
Oh, okay.
I've chosen a photo that I want to send, and then there's a way to send multiple too, but just for now, let's do a simple one. We know that it has metadata. I'm going to press the send button, and it's going to say, okay, options. It says location is included. One photo selected. It's even warning me. You see that?
Mhm.
So it's up to
Yeah.
me to click on options and to say, no, 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 don't send the location. Okay. And then I'll say done. Cool.
And how do you start that? When you pick when you choose the
Start again.
start,
It's
can you
the
start,
photo.
choose the photo?
Now go to this
I'm choosing
share.
the photo myself.
Now go to this share button. Make sure the photo of yourself has,
No, no, on my screen, it just has at the top edit, and then it has a circle with the three dots giving me
okay,
the,
so stop for a minute, stop for a minute. You're in your text app. It's the messages app, right?
yes,
Okay. So when you select a photo, right?
yes.
You see at the bottom left a point up arrow pointing.
I know how to do that. I don't know what you said in the beginning about getting, see at the top of yours, you have those three bars on a increase and the volume and a battery. Oh, that's your phone part. All right, never mind.
Yeah. This is just my basic phone text where I click on this and then it changes to this window. Does yours not change to this window?
Changes. Okay.
It's warning me that there's a location in this image. If I don't care, I just send. But if I do care, I go to options and I turn off location. Okay? Don't click on that. It doesn't turn it off for my photo in my computer. It's just for the one that's being sent. Okay? And then I'll say done. Good. And when it's ready to go, then I can send it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not looking at what I'm doing. Plus turn off location, done, and send. And you can email it, you can message it, you can send it to notes, you can airdrop it. You have to choose how to send it. The important thing is that whichever way you send it, location is now not included, okay? So Josie, this is what you could have done for mail.
Yes, I did that.
We're going to message it, okay? So I'm going to choose to message it. And then I'm going to send it to myself. And I think this is SBCC business here. I'm going to send it to this account, which is this phone. Okay, so I'm going to kind of receive it and send it from the same phone. And I'm going to say here, add comment, test if no metadata, at least no location metadata, right? And then I'm going to send it. Cool. So I have texted it to myself. I could have also, let's see, mail it to myself. Same thing, location is included. So you have to turn it off each time. As long as location is included, you can't forget that step. Go to options and turn off location. Ding. And then say done. And then this time I'm going to mail it from my phone in the mail app. And I'm going to send it to Pipeline. Or no, I'm going to send it again to SBCC teacher that way.
You have two B's there.
Oh, thank you. SBCC teacher, there it is, Gmail. And I'm going to click in there and write again, test, no metadata. Metadata. All right. And I'm going to send it. So I just both texted it to me and I emailed it to me, but now I get to choose what size. I'm going to send it small again. And now I can leave my texting app. Let me show you one more, and I don't want to spend too much more time on this, but just so you know, both on the computer or on the phone, there's a choice to airdrop. And airdropping is something you can do if someone is right next to you and using your same Wi-Fi, right? So then I can just click on that, and instead of having to go download it, it just you send it to someone this way, they open their phone, they receive a message saying someone is sending photos, and they say okay, and boom, you can send like 20, 30, 100 photos, and instantly they appear on that person's phone app. Okay. Which is why if you have to send a ton of photos, and the example would be if you're traveling with someone and they took, 400 photos and you took 400 photos at the end of the trip, you want to share your photos. You know how, like, hey, give me your photos and I'll give you mine, and we all have the photos of the whole trip. Um, emailing that many photos would be really hard. So you can just airdrop and boom, all the photos just appear in the other phone. Anyway, just thought I'd share that. Okay, so this is my text app. I'm done. I texted and I emailed. Let me go then into both my text and my email. Here's my text app. I'm going to open my texts, and since I texted it to myself, sometimes it's a little bit weird. Let's see, did I text it to the right number? My texting on this phone is all junk because this is a phone number that doesn't get used. So I have all junk, but I don't delete it to have something to show. But I probably texted it to an email. Probably didn't have a phone number in that SBCC. You know what? I don't know that I'm going to get it as a text. I'll have to go check again what numbers, but I should be getting it as an email. So I'm going to go to mail. And so now I'm opening my mail app. Why? Because I haven't. Mail app. There we go. Mail. Sorry, I was going into Safari instead of mail. I went to my mail app and I back out, and there it is. Business SBCC test. And I click on test no metadata, and here's the photo sent from my iPhone. It even says, because I don't have it set up. So how do I download this from my mail on my phone? Okay. So if everyone, hi Barbara, we're just sharing photos from the Photos app on the phone and on the computer. So now I mailed myself a photo from the Photos app. I'm going to click and hold a long, okay? So when I say long hold, you don't just click. You click and hold your finger down, okay? When you just click, you see it. That's all you do. But you click and hold down, press down, and here all these choices come up. And one of them is save image. And this save image saves it to your Photos app. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to say save image, and it went into my Photos app. So now let's go see if that's true. I'm going to scooch up and I go into my Photos app, and this is the one I sent. So let me scroll all the way to the bottom, and let's see, it'll show up at some point in my saved form. In fact, I could also go all the way down to shared with me, although I shared it with myself, so I don't know if it'll show in utilities, recently saved. Yeah, these are the 3 photos that I've just sent myself, and these are the 3 that shouldn't have metadata. I'm going to click on this one, and let's see, I'm going to pull up. No camera information. Remember the last one that we saw said that I was in Barcelona and what date it was, and this is November 12th, today, okay? Which, no, I am not in Barcelona right now, okay? So that is the one that I have just texted to myself, that I just saved, all right? And so these 3 that I just texted or emailed to myself arrived without metadata information versus the original ones all had metadata. Okay. So I went
So
recently saved.
just FYI, Deanna,
Yeah.
It looks like even like if I go back into that and send the small photo, but turn it back into a large photo using the mail app,
Yeah.
it doesn't pick up the information again.
Okay, so the first one might have been done wrong. I don't know what happened to the first one that you still had it with information
But
on.
if I go full size, it still sends it with all the
With all the information.
metadata.
Okay, that's really good to know. Thank you. See, I didn't know that. So actual size is like basically almost like it should say actual photo with metadata. That's really good to know. I'm glad that we did that test. Um,
And I turned off my camera raw.
okay. Cool. So if you were all able to email and text yourself, I can't go to my own text to pick it up. It occurred to me that this text, that this messages here doesn't receive anyway. I don't have, it's a test phone. It's a fake phone, so to say, set up for teaching. And the phone number that City College was supposed to keep paying, they might not be paying for it because I can't get texts on it right now. We had talked about keeping it running. They don't know why they need to keep a phone running on a number phone that's not being used. And I tried to explain, but they were questioning it, so maybe that's why I'm not getting it right now. But I'm not going to question it, meaning it's not that important. It's just texting it to yourself so you can see it yourself. Did it work? Did you all go through the process of sending yourself on your computer and on your phone a photo by mail or by text? And when you received it, they were empty? If so, give me a yes. The only other thing I'm going to do is show you how to text more than one. So I'm going to share again my computer. I mean, this will be just quick. If you want to share more than one, you just need to select more than one. And how do we select more than one? Remember, if they are contiguous, you click and hold the shift key and click. That's more than one. Contiguous, touching. But if you say send, the same thing as we did before, then four of them will be sent. Boom, you'll have four photos in there. But if you want to do non-contiguous photos, you have to do shift. Sorry, shift is for contiguous touching. And if you want instead to send that one plus that one, you go and hold the command key and then you go that one and that one. So those two are not touching. And then that one. So those are not touching. So that's how you then would send the photos. And you would get three photos and send three photos. Okay.
Tell
That's
me
on
that
the computer.
again. That's, you use just the command?
Command key. Click, hold down the command key and keep clicking individual photos. My command key hasn't been lifted. When I'm done selecting the four non-contiguous photos that I want, when I go share, you've got 5 photos selected and they're not contiguous, right? And then you share. It doesn't matter. The share is the same. It's just how do you choose more than one. I'm going to show you on the phone how you choose more than one, and then we're going to move on to something else unless there's questions. But let's go to the phone. How do I select more than one over here? We did this also last class. So I'm going to see if someone else can remember how to tell me how to do it. How do you select more than one photo?
Hit the select button up at the top.
Yep. So basically, there's a select button right here, and that's what we did last class. It's always about that select button, right? So I'm going to touch the select button. Boom. And once it says cancel, you're in the select mode. And now when you click, that selects and that selects and that selects and that selects. Okay. You select those four photos selected. You go to the share button. And again, locations are included. You turn the locations off for all four. Okay. And then you say done. And then you get to share them whichever way you want to share them. Message, mail, airdrop, whatever you want. Okay.
Very
I'm
good.
not going to send it to myself again, but basically that's how you choose more than one. You can still keep choosing. You can keep scrolling around and going, oh, I think I want to send that one too. Boom. And oh, I think I want to send that one as well. Boom. So now there's 6 photos. Or then you go, oh, I didn't mean to do that one, so I'm going to touch it again to get rid of it. Now we're down to 5 photos. I'm going to send this one instead. Oh, no, I didn't mean that one. So the moment you touch it, it either selects or deselects. Selects or deselects. Okay. So then you scroll, and you scroll, and you go, oh, this peacock is better than that peacock. Let me turn this one off and turn this one on. Okay, so you finally have the choices of what you send. You turn off the locations, then you say if you're going to text them or you're going to mail them or you're going to airdrop them. Okay. All right. And I'm not going to do it this time, so I'm going to click the X to cancel that, but there we go. That's how you would do more than one photo. So now I'm going to hit cancel because I'm backing off of doing it. But had you gone through with it, then that's how you do it. All right. If you're all able to choose more than one photo, both on your mail and on your phone, give me a yes if you know how to select more than one, and then I will continue. All right, cool. On the iPad, it's the same as on the iPhone as far as selecting more than one. Okay, I'm seeing yeses everywhere, almost everywhere. Mary Jean, Josie, I didn't hear from you guys. I think Yolanda, you're good, but Mary Jean and Josie, you're okay?
I'm completing it. I only did the single, but now I'm doing more than one. But it's fine. I understand. Thank you.
Oh, and Mary Jean said she's out. She'll be back shortly. Okay, good. Cool. So let me clear your answers. And I'm going to share again. This time I'm going to just share the photos out because I don't need to share the mail and all that anymore. And that way it's an easier share. All right. Someone, I don't know who, kept clicking and then turning this eye on and off. And just so you know, you don't need to. If I change photo, the info changes, right? So I leave this on and then I just click, 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 and see this is Barcelona and this one is New York. Well, these are the ones that were texted to me. This was Albany. So as you move around the information, so you don't need to keep turning this on and off. You just turn it on once and it stays on. And when I click on different things, the information keeps changing. This one was texted to me, so I have no nothing on it. And then this one is one I took. So there it is. Actually, not even because that's not my camera. But anyway, it was shared with me through AirDrop with the information. This is my husband's camera. And this is a screenshot. Screenshots don't have. Oh, okay. So that's what I was going to say. The second choice of how to send a photo without having it be let me share my phone again because usually we do this on the phone without having information is to send a screenshot. Now a screenshot means that they won't be able to print it as a photo or something, but that's okay. So say that I want to send this peacock, but I don't want for some reason to turn off that options. I might forget. So what I need to do is I need to do a screenshot. Does everyone know how to do a screenshot? This isn't the class to teach you about your phone so much, but still a screenshot. I'm going to click on the two sides of my phone, and there's a screenshot of this peacock. See that?
Yes.
Now I click on it before it goes, and I can bring down the boxes. And now that is a screenshot of my photo. It's not the photo. But what I can do right now is go back to the same good old icon to share right there. And so now I will share the screenshot. I'm going to email it, message it, whatever, and they won't know the difference. They're going to get the screenshot and it comes with nothing. Okay. So that's another way to get, and you can do a screenshot on the phone or on the computer and send the screenshot. Okay.
I was trying to follow you and I got lost. I'm very sorry.
Okay. Let me turn this, delete the screenshot. So does everyone know how to make a screenshot?
I don't.
All right.
Not on
That's
the phone.
dependent on the phone
All right.
model. On this phone model, which is an iPhone 10, it's the same as in my iPhone 15, in fact. So the screenshot system has stayed for quite a while, but I think if you have an iPhone 6 or older, then it's different. If you have the one that has the button in the bottom, it's different. But if you don't have, you know how some still have the button on the bottom? Those different. But if you only have buttons on the sides, then you click on, you know how on one side you have volumes up and down?
Yes,
So put your mouse on the up, your fingers on the up, and then on the other side you have the button that turns your phone on and off. So you're basically holding your phone from the two sides. Look at my little photo of me. Here, let me.
yes.
So you put one finger on each side of your phone, like on your on and off and on your up volume, and then you just simply click and you have made a screenshot. Now let me do that again, sharing my screen so you can see the moment I click on that, you should have seen a screenshot appear. So now I'm pressing those two buttons, click, and that is a screenshot. It'll disappear in a few seconds, so I need to click on it right now. If it disappears, it goes into my Photos app like this with all the information, right? So now before I send it, I'm gonna just get rid of all my screenshot information that's not necessary. And and now I'm gonna go ahead and so now I'm gonna send it. Okay. So that's the second way to send photos. And of course, this is one at a time versus the other one where you can send 5 photos and just turn off the location information for 5 photos all at once. Does that make sense?
I have a second button on the right side of my phone, one down below,
What kind of phone, what model do you
and
have?
a 16.
Yeah, ignore that one. That's a different one. So it's the top button. It's the
Okay.
two top buttons. Yeah, the second button is for a different, so just the two top. Click them.
Oh, I got it. I got it. Sorry. And
No,
now
that's great.
how do I close off the top and bottom? Crop and
You just
scale?
press them and you have a photo there. That's a screenshot.
Yes.
When you click
Yes.
on it, you crop it and you share it. And it looks a bit different on my new phone. It's a little bit fancier, but it's the same idea.
All right. I mean, I just crop using my finger.
Yeah, yeah, that's all you have on a phone. You just grab this stuff and pull it down
Okay.
and then you share.
All right. Send it to,
So depending on what's easiest for you, to do a screenshot of your photo and send it, or to send it and go to options, turn off location, which if you have 4 or 5 photos, yeah, it's better to do that. And boom, you just do that for 4 photos. But if you have just one, screenshot and send is also really easy, as long as you're comfy with screen shooting. Okay. Now, this screenshot is great for them to see, but remember, they won't be able to print it, but that you shouldn't be doing that. Like, it won't be enough information to get a good shot. They could get like a little tiny 2 by 3 out of it instead of it. So if you're sending a picture of your granddaughter to, say you're a mom and sending the picture of of your daughter to your grandmother, who in my case, like my mother, might want to make a big print of it to have her grandkids in the house. Well, then I have to send her the full on actual size photo. Okay.
okay.
That's the only time you would need an actual size photo. Other than that, screenshots or text or small, all of that works for just visually seeing it. Okay. All right. If everyone's good with that, I'm
Mhm.
gonna stop my phone share and whew, it's getting cold. I'm gonna I have a little blankie. It's a little tiny throw and I'm gonna put it over my legs. I'm sorry. This shed gets cold. I don't know what it'll be like in winter. I'd have to-
We're about to have winter. We're going to have a big
I
storm.
know it's getting, yeah, I'm feeling it right now, and it's not even bad weather yet. But anyway, a good thing I have a tiny little throw thing right here that I just put over my legs. Okay. All right. Let's continue with the computer. So everyone back to computer. So that's how to share your photos with the world whichever way you want it. You could also do airdrops from the phone, as you saw from the computers. It's more typical that there'd be two people with their phones next to each other to share with airdrop. Rarely do two people have their two computers next to each other. But when I demo this when I'm in class and everyone wants to go use airdrop, suddenly everyone whose computers is there could be shared with, right? Because we're all sharing the computers. But most of the times your computers don't hang out with other computers. So mostly we airdrop on the phone. All right. And from iPhone to iPhone. So like I wanted to do that with my sister. She came to part of this trip with me. She was with me in part of this trip, and she had an Android, and I couldn't airdrop photos to her. So yeah, it's from iPhone to iPhone or Apple Mac to Apple Mac. The airdrop feature is an Apple feature. Okay. Whew. I had sometimes it feels like the nights that I actually get good sleep, then the next day I'm more tired. It's so weird. I'm kind of tired today, and I actually had a nice sleep last night, which many times I don't. So that's weird. I'm a night owl. I stay up late working, and then I still have to get up early to work, right? So I don't get many hours of sleep, and the next morning when I do get sleep, I'm always sleepy. All right, here we go. Left side. So library, we talked about, favorites talked about, map, we talked about, recently saved, we talk about. I want to, by the way, get rid of the last three that I just saved for myself. Remember, these are the three that I've just been testing with. I don't want to keep them because they're duplicates, but they're duplicates without the right data. So I'm going to select them, and they're going to be at the bottom of the list because they're the newest ones, right? I'm going to select them. I'm either going to go to recently saved, and they're at the bottom, or I'm going to go to library. And these are the three that appear. And why are these two still further back? Because remember, I had labeled them as 2028 photos, like
Oh, yeah.
shot in 2028. So they are still there. They're not the last three because these say today's date, November 12th, and these say 2028. So I'm going to select those three and I'm going to delete them. So I'm going to do right click and delete three photos. Are you sure they're going to be deleted? Yep, delete. So they're really sitting in my recently deleted, but I don't have their copies. And this one I had done the other day as well, or it's the one that I tested with. So I'm going to get rid of this one as well. Delete this one photo too, because I have all of the same ones and I don't want to hang on to these little copies. This was just for testing purposes. Okay. Whew. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning. I had a great day. I've been doing a lot of work. I had a nice hike. I'm just weird. Okay. So on the left side, we went into the days that I told you. Days, peoples and pets, memories, trips. Okay, so we've kind of gone through all of that, featured photos. And now we come down to a place where there's arrows. Utilities, media types, albums, and projects. And then we have shared albums at the bottom. So first of all, let's head down to see what's utilities. So when I just click utilities, if it's not open, then you just see some kind of these are really like different albums, but they're not albums that I've created, the albums that the iPhone or the Apple creates. And remember, they have a name, and one of them was the hidden one that we visited the other day. And I don't like seeing them this way. I like to see them where I just open this little tiny triangle there and it's an arrow. And now I can just go see my hidden one, which right now we talked about. I am able to view my hidden one because I had left it on. But if you had left it off, you wouldn't be seeing the hidden one there. I'm going to ignore it because we already talked about it hidden. Then comes this really cool one, the duplicates. So if you don't see one here, it's because you don't have that. So if you don't have duplicates, it's because you don't have duplicate photos. It's not that you're missing something. But if you see the word duplicates, then you have duplicate photos. Does that make sense? So then this is my duplicate photos. And if you were in my previous class, when we went into the contacts, where there's a merge contacts feature, I Well, I am so sorry. I normally don't yawn. I don't know. Don't take it personally, all guys. It's me. I don't know why I'm yawning because I'm not even tired. Um, okay, so here I'm in my duplicates feature, and as opposed to the contacts where it just offered to merge without you seeing them, here you can see them before merging them. Um, or if you have 2,500 duplicates, some people do, then yeah, you might just want to go for it and merge them all because you really want to see them all. But if you're not so sure and you want to see them all, then here you get a chance to see them. So here I have the choice to merge these two. Now, I remember I still have my info here. If I'm not sure if they're the same one, if I click and look at it, and then I click this one and look at it, and nothing changes in my info. Nothing at all changes. It's like that and that, that and that. It's exactly the same info. I know that they are fine to merge. I'm always hesitant to merge because then I don't have samples to show. Let me go to some of my older ones. Here I have, if you merge, it just happens automatically. So I click on this one, I click on this one. This one's a little bit different. So I click on this one. It says noisy.jpg up there, but it still says July 21, 2011. And when I click on this one, it's called focus not.jpg, but it's still July 2011, 923, iPhone 4. So it's the same exact photo, but they had two different names. You see that? So does that matter if it's the same exact photo that they have two different names? So that is a name that was given at some other point. If they are the same photo and I don't care, I should just merge them. When you go merge these things, the computer's going to say thing. I'm gonna just merge one of them for you to see, but I'm going to make it a good one. So here I have two different ones and they're the same. And I'm going to say merge two items. And when you say that, it goes, the selected items are exact copies, but they might have different metadata. Merging them will keep one version, combining all the relevant data. Then the other one will move to the recently deleted. So this is two exact copies. If I go over here to this one that had two different names, right? Remember, if I go to merge to item, I get the same information. And this is exactly an example of they may have different metadata. Merge will keep one version. So I'm going to lose one of the ones. Now I'm going to cancel that again. And I'm only canceling because I don't want to have no examples. I did that once where I kept doing it in class and then I was left with no examples to share. Now here, this is different. If you pay attention, this one here says that it's 74 KB and this one says it's 84 KB. So this actually has different KB is this kilobytes, right? So these are actually three different ones. If the number is so tiny between 74 KB, 84 KB, it makes no difference. I should still merge them. But if one is like 3 megabytes and one is 84 KB, you definitely, they're two different images. They're two different purposes. One can be printed, one cannot. You might need to be careful when you merge them, though, and this is a good news. The computer is going to keep the largest version for you. So it's going to go default to the better one to keep. Okay. So here's one where I have a 2 megabyte one and a 1.5 megabyte one. See, and ultimately, if I merge them, it's going to keep the 2.1 megabyte one. All right. Anyway, for the most part, duplicates are duplicates and they're not the same one. But again, here's one where I have the 2.5 megabyte one and I have this one. So this is a 2.5 megabyte with location information, person information, much more information. 2.5 megabyte is bigger, 3,000 pixels, and this one is less pixels, smaller file, no location information. So I definitely don't want to keep that one. I want to keep that one. Good news is if I merge them, it'll keep this one. It'll keep the big one. Okay. All right. So what if you want to just merge them all? Can you do that instead of having to go through 2500. Yes, I believe you, if you do a select all, like watch, if I do a select all, then I can just merge all of them at the same time. Yes, Barbara,
Why would you want to merge them?
to not
One
have duplicate.
smaller, less pixels and no information. Why would you want to merge it with a larger one
Want
with
to have three of the same thing. The smaller ones will disappear and the large one will stay with all of the information.
but oh, does merge just save the big one?
Yeah, it saves the one with the most information. As far as files, the most pixels stays, but maybe on this one it already had like a file, a title or something. So then it'll put that, it'll convert, it'll merge all three. It'll keep the most information, including the title that was in one that was smaller, but the other one had more pixels. Then it'll join them and you'll get the title from the smaller one into the bigger one. Does that make sense? So
Yeah,
it'll,
that
it'll
does.
collapse it into the most amount of information it can, including the most pixels and the most file, the most everything. All right. And sometimes you have something a bunch of times, and we'll talk about how come most of the times that happened when there was people when we used in the past, when instead of the Photos app, when it was the iPhotos app, and at this point that's many years ago, I think. I think they went from the iPhotos app to the Photos app in 2012 or something like that. I don't remember exactly when, but it's been a while. Every time you upgraded operating system, there was a glitch, and many times people got all their photos duplicated or some photos duplicated. Or in the past, when you used to bring your photos in from your camera, and the camera would say, well, these photos are all there. You still want to put them in? And you'd say yes. And then you'd like import the photos 3 times instead of just once. So there's all these different reasons why you might have duplicates. Phone, as I said, glitches from upgrades. And anyway, so this, for many, many years, that was a big issue. Ever since the duplicates has appeared, which has appeared in, not in Ventura, Sonoma, I think it appeared, since you have this option of Sonoma and Sequoia to search for duplicates and delete, it's much easier. And now through that whole iCloud thing, you can't really have duplicates unless you purposely create them yourself. You can have a duplicate. But the whole issue that was happening before of the computer duplicating your images on transfer, that's not happening anymore. So hopefully people have less and less duplicates now. Yes, Georgia?
Does this get the, is this only the duplicates that are in photos, or does it also include what's in your email?
Just photos.
Just photos, okay.
So if you have photos in your email or in your messages, you need to delete those from there. Yeah, this is just the Photos app duplicates. All right. Anyone who had duplicates, did you merge them? Did it work? All good? All right. Any questions? Oh, on the phone, for people who for some reason have an older version, I guess it's not happening too much in here. Because people who have had that happen have told me. In the past, people used to have older computers serve, like if you had Monterey or Ventura, you can't merge duplicates, but in the phone, it's the same thing. So here we're in the phone, we go all the way down to the utilities, which is where we found that. Utilities, and here's the duplicates. Okay, you click on duplicates and same thing.
Wait a second, phone down to utilities, duplicates.
Okay.
Aha.
And here you can do that too. So sometime when you're sitting around waiting for something to happen, you can go and search your duplicates. And if you want to confirm them one by one for any particular reason, then you can sit there and do them. Okay. How are we doing? Let me share my computer again. Photos up. Here we go. All right. So then in the utilities, if you have ever photographed a receipt, it would appear under receipts. Some people do this to not have little papers everywhere and you keep track of all your receipts for tax purposes, there you go. Photograph your receipts. Ooh. Oh, sorry. If the computer recognizes it as a receipt. Now, if it's a receipt and you've taken it with a lot of the table around with books and pens and stuff popping in, it might not recognize it a receipt. It's just a photo. So you need to make sure to really focus on the receipt for the computer to then put it in here. So this is like later we're going to talk about smart albums. These are smart albums that are smart in that I didn't create the receipts folder. Apple created it as long as it found a receipt. And so what's a smart album? It's an album that recognizes something about an image and it puts itself in that album. So we're going to create some special smart folders, but the ones that Apple creates are these. It's an album that recognizes photos taken in a certain day. And so boom, it puts them in there. In this case, it recognizes things that are duplicates. In this case, it recognizes things that look like receipts. Now, don't trust the computer to notice all your receipts. If you don't see your receipts in there, either you haven't taken photos of receipts or it doesn't recognize them. If so, we're going to make our own albums. If you are doing this, say for tax purposes, you should make your own album. And every time you photograph a receipt, you should put it in that album because maybe you photographed 30 receipts, but maybe Apple recognizes only 25 and there's 5 receipts that Apple didn't recognize and you won't get to put them in your taxes, right? So I still recommend not just trusting Apple recognizing that it's a receipt. So that's just my recommendation. Before this appeared, this is a feature that just appeared in the last few sessions of upgrades. If we had receipts, we had to create our own album. Okay, so when we talk about making albums, we'll figure out how to make our own album of receipts. Mary Jean, you kind of raised your hand and then you turned it down. I mean, is it you're set? You're good, or do you still have a question?
Don't have receipts
Yeah. So
or
did you take it?
writing or
Yeah, so that's the thing. All of these are depending if you have them. Now, do you have photos of receipts? Do you
no.
have photos of handwriting? Do you have photos of illustrations? Because if
Yeah.
you don't, you won't have them. And if you do, you might have them. But it's interesting because this is an illustration. It's a tiled wall, right? But
Okay.
the computer is recognizing it as an illustration, which is not incorrect. After all, there is an illustration on the tiles. But this is also considered an illustration, and this is a screenshot of one of those boards that I make here on Zoom. And this is considered an illustration, and it's a chalk painting for Imarinari that my son made on the sidewalk. And this is a museum photo, and it's recognized as an illustration. That said, I know that I have more photos of that museum, and they're not all here. Only these 2 from that museum when I photographed, this is the road in LA. I know I photographed more than those 2 pieces, and the others aren't recognized, right? So maybe I didn't put them in this app though, but meaning not just because it's illustration will it be recognized, but if you do have one, it has been recognized. This one, Robert Rauschenberg, somehow it recognized it as an illustration, which is really, it's a construct. It could be a cabinet, but for some reason the computer recognized it that it's an art piece and it's showing it. But this is AI. It might be right or it might be wrong. This is a photo of a shack. It's to get out of the rain in the top of the Pyrenees Mountains, and yet I guess it has a bit of a mural pointed to it, so it's appearing under illustration. So it's a bit iffy about when it does or doesn't appear. Okay. Yes, Blas?
I think I know the answer to my question, but for example, on receipts, let's say, oh, that's not a receipt, I delete it. It only deletes it from that receipts.
Yeah, don't. No, 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 no. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for asking that. Do not delete it. Do not delete it. Something that we're going to talk about with albums in a way, these are albums, I should explain it. A photo that's in an album is just being, okay, great question. Do not delete it. Basically, if you delete it, you're going to delete it. Look, right click. If I delete this photo, it's deleting it. It doesn't say anywhere removed from album, right? This is an album that's taking out of the entire set of photos. It's taking and saying, "Ooh, I recognize it as a receipt," but it didn't make a duplicate. It didn't make a duplicate. If I go to October 2024 or April 10th, 2025, right? And I find this photo, let me go do that. I'm going to go to the library, April 10th, 2025. So let me head down to April. So I'm looking over here, April 10th. Here it is, April 10th. Oh, there it is. There's that photo. Okay. That's the photo. And it looks like these two are photos that the computer recognized as receipts. This is one photo that exists in this. And in the libraries, you see all your photos once. Now, this photo happens to fulfill the description of looking like a receipt. So then it is being shown to you here, kind of abstracted from all those thousands of photos to just see receipts, but it is not being duplicated. So if you delete this photo from here, it'll delete from there. Let me show you. I'm going to delete it from here, delete one photo. This will be deleted from all your devices. Okay, I delete it because I just didn't want it in here because it's wrong. When I go to my library, it's going to delete from here as well. Hello. Was that a second one? There, I undid that. No, it was a second one. Okay. It's just that I have two of these, see? So it was confusing. It's two numbers, but it's two postal service. So no, don't delete from albums, because if you delete from an album, you delete the original one as well. Okay. So if it got something that's not, so in illustrations, if I look at this and I go, that's not an illustration, I can't, again, these are helpful to a point, okay? Because when you see that this doesn't belong, there is no remove from album, okay? Which on the albums that we create, we will be able to do that, but not from these. So you just got to live with it that, Apple made a mistake, and it'll hopefully, as you keep upgrading, it'll recognize, oh, well, that's not my definition of an illustration. The definition of illustration is wide enough that it thought that's what it was, and you got to live with it. Okay. If I go to handwriting, I remember I looked at this photo and I thought, what's the handwriting here? The 90% of the photo is not handwriting, but like right here in the corner, I had some handwriting in the board, and that's why it's there. This one, I had some handwriting way back there, and that's why it's there. Now, this is not handwriting, it's an illustration. I wonder if this illustration is under illustration. I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, it's there as well. So see, this one is under handwriting and it's under illustration, and it's the exact same photo. But they didn't duplicate it 3 times. They just pointed it, they show it to you here, and they're showing it to me here as well. Okay? Because as far as I see illustration, I don't see handwriting myself, so this should be considered a mistake. But if I delete it from here, it'll delete the photo. Thus, I will lose it from the main library and from the illustrations. Okay, so this also is, well, this one does have, it says head. So I guess this one has some handwriting. The other one didn't. And in fact, this isn't even handwriting. This is a book that my son designed, and this is printed, right? But it's printed in a font that looks like handwriting. So it's been recognized as handwriting, but it's a book, right? So it's not always going to be perfect, but that's the good and the bad of having something that is automatic. It gets it right or it doesn't. I'm sure there's other handwriting photos that didn't appear, and I'm sure there's other illustrations that don't appear. But when they do appear, you can't take them off, because if you take them off, they are considered deleted. Barbara?
Yeah, I was just trying to do something and I don't know what I did. I have all my photos in a window on my computer, but it It said on my photos just synced with iCloud just now. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to close this because I don't know my iCloud password. I haven't called Apple yet to find
So
out.
like this thing right now, when you go to the library at the very bottom, the latest photos, it says synced with iCloud just now. That one you mean?
Yeah, that's what my what's open it said.
Yeah.
Now
So under
now if
library
I
and all photos, you at the bottom, like the newest photos, then there it tells you synced with iCloud just now. And yeah,
well, it just synced over 4,000 photos and over 200 videos.
well,
But
no, no,
those
no, no,
are
hold
in
on.
iCloud now.
Hold on, Barbara. It didn't just sync that many photos. These are how many photos your whole library has. In your case, 4,000 photos and 200 videos. It's not that it just synced with them. It's just that every, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes, it checks in, it syncs and sees if there's something new. And if there's something new, it adds it. But this isn't that it's 1,500 photos just now. It just is letting me know that this is fresh, that's as fresh as it can be. I'm going to go photograph something now. I'm going to take my camera and I'm going to photograph my floor here, my piece of this furniture. I just took a picture. This is in my phone, and my photo isn't here yet. Okay. But at some point, my phone will sync and it'll appear in here. And then it'll have synced and found one new photo and it'll appear. But it doesn't keep syncing all the other stuff. Now, does that make sense? Is this checks and it brings it in. So at some point, if we keep talking, we'll see another photo appear in here of my floor. So, but you said that you were having a problem, so I'm not sure what the problem is in your
Well,
description.
I don't know what I'm looking at on my screen.
Want to share your screen?
I'm so dumb.
And I'll keep an eye on that and I'll see
Yeah.
when that photo appears. Okay. You are missing your sidebar. You're seeing exactly the same thing I'm seeing right now. Exactly the same, except for you're missing the sidebar because the window's a bit small. So click on the side and make it a little bit wider. No, you don't need, yeah, there. There, the sidebar appeared. Okay. And so you're seeing exactly the same stuff I'm seeing. You're seeing things, you've got the library and the all photos set up. So it's showing you all your photos, and these are the last few photos that you've taken are these, okay? And then, and in fact, you're in my Illustrator class, and that's the Illustrator bot from the screenshots that you took. And this is telling you that you have a total of 4,486 photos in your library. Those are all the photos you have and 211 videos. So you're seeing exactly the same video that I'm seeing. Okay.
But what am I seeing it through? My phone is
Your Photos app. It's your Photos app on your computer. It's your computer's
that's right.
Photos
That's
app.
what I clicked on. Okay.
Yeah, I know
I'm
this is
still
confusing.
dizzy.
I know that
My
it's,
brain
yeah.
hasn't worked in over a week.
No, that's fine. But I know that this is confusing for you because sometimes you use Lightroom, sometimes you use Photoshop, sometimes you use the Finder. I know that in the past you've tried to use your Finder and you were trying to see the photos, and I'm like, no, you need to use the Photos app, right? Or something. So yeah, this is your Photos app, and this is where you would have all of the different things that I'm explaining and sharing and all that. So this is open.
That and I've got 3 external hard drives plugged in.
Mhm.
And I've got, what is that? Oh, I can't remember what it's called. We went through it. It collects everything, or
Bridge. Oh, we
it's
do that.
antivirus software, I think. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yeah, there's no need to use antivirus stuff on the Mac. Just so you know.
What's that other? You have to read what it says. It says not to unplug it on top.
Okay, I'm gonna
Time
stop your
machine.
share
That's what
'cause
it
it looks
is.
like I'm gonna stop your share for a minute here.
So
And by the way,
time.
while you were talking, just for everyone to see, that photo that I just took just appeared, and here it is. Okay. That's the photo of the floor. There's a piece of furniture here that I just photographed, and I just took it at 2:24 on November 12th today. Okay. So yeah, and I am going to
So I can close that window, right?
no, that's that window that you're looking at. That's the one we're using. So keep going. Keep it open and keep following my instructions.
Okay.
So down here, if you look at that sidebar, if you go down to the word utilities, that's where we're at. We're exploring the utilities. Okay. And so we had looked at all these different albums that the computer is making for us. If we have that feature, if we have an illustration, it hopefully has discovered one and put it in there. And if not, you might not see it. In fact, I believe that there's even more. If someone has more that I don't have, I actually, let me check on my regular computer, so to say. I was noticing that there are even more options. Let me see for a second if I can see what those options are. Under
There's 2 items.
duplicates, recently saved, imports, maps. Oh, interestingly enough, I don't even have receipts or illustrations or handwriting in my big computer on my real photos. How interesting. So I don't know. Is it because they're putting it somewhere else? Or they discovered it wasn't useful for people. So I'm in Tahoe right now on my other computer, and I open my photos up there because I always check and see what's new or different. And I'm not seeing these at all. I'm seeing duplicates, but I'm not seeing receipts nor handwriting nor illustrations. And these same photos that I have here are a tiny little version of what I have. I have 14,000, 25,000 photos in mine. And I certainly have all of that. So it's interesting. I'm going to have to research and see. Maybe they don't have that anymore in the newer version. Anyway, I have the recently viewed, and I go to recently viewed. It's basically all the ones that we've been. Remember how I just showed you this picture to show you other illustrations? I just showed you their handwriting. I showed this one to show you that, the location information. So these are the photos that I've been working with today. And so thus they're showing up under recently viewed. See what I mean, Blas? Again, can you imagine if I were to delete this one just because I don't want it here? Well, it would delete the photo. In this case, it makes sense because it's called recently viewed. So you're aware that, oh yeah, well, that's a photo I just saw. I wouldn't delete it from there. But just as much as it's been called recently viewed, this is called illustrations. And it's just showing you something that it thinks is true, right? And it does not mean that it's duplicated these photos to show them to me as recently viewed. Does that make sense, you guys? How these things work? Okay. Really quick because I want to answer Yolanda's question, but basically same as recently edited. I was playing around with these photos yesterday. If you've never edited your photos, you wouldn't have that. Recently shared. Oh, look at that. The three photos that I just shared with myself that I was just doing this example with, remember? There we go. These are the recently shared photos. Then if you have any documents that appear as documents, look at that. It's considering a receipt a document. It's considering this text a document, and then imports. If you've imported any photos in, so those of you who bring photos in with by cable, that would be an import. And remember, I told you I just imported all these photos of my friends at the wedding. There we go. That happened November 10th. All right. So these are photos that I've just imported. All right. Just explore to see what else you have in here. And meanwhile, yes, Yolanda, what's your question? I'm sorry I've waited so long. I hope you still remember your question.
Yeah, I think some of my questions were answered by you, but what happened is that this is the first time I had reviewed I had been hospitalized 3 times and half of my brain died and has not returned back. So when I just saw this receipts, you have somewhere in the receipts, recent something about receipts there, and you said something that once you erase that, the whole thing is erased, and I did not understand that, because normally my receipts would be, because I took it would be on the original library that says library. I haven't checked right now yet if they were still there, but I would normally take receipts, passports, and those important documents.
Yeah.
And so if I do not make sense, just let me know, because since I got
So
sick.
that I hear you. Yeah. In the library, you have everything. It makes sense what you're asking, Yolanda. You're fine. Every one of the photos that you've taken, be it a receipt, or be it a passport, or be it a building, or be it your granddaughter, it all appears in your library in no order whatsoever, only in the order of when it was taken. So if you have a receipt here, a receipt there, a receipt there, a receipt there, they're hard to put together when it's tax season. So one option is for you to have made an album called Receipts, which we're heading into albums right now, so we're going to get there soon. I haven't explained how to make them yet for people who don't know how to make them, but I guess that Apple was trying to be helpful and was trying to collect them for you by clicking on things that look here. Anything that looked like a receipt would be shown in here. That said, it doesn't seem necessarily to be working in my other computer, so I don't know if it's happening for everyone or if they've stopped doing it. I'm gonna have to research, because right now I don't have these three choices. This was new. It appeared in Sequoia, maybe in Sonoma. It's the first time this appeared, and now I'm noticing in Tahoe it's not there. So maybe they figured it wasn't, it, since it wasn't correct enough, it was probably not helpful. So basically, you're back to having to make your own receipts album. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to research to see why Tahoe doesn't have it, because I know that these same receipts exist in my other computer. So actually, that's not true. You know what? I photographed these on purpose for this class on this phone. I put three receipts down and I photographed them so that they would appear here to show you this feature. So maybe I don't have receipts, because I don't normally photograph my receipts. I scan them.
You
So
had
I'm
four of
wondering
them
if
originally
I don't
when
have
you started
receipts.
showing this. You had four there.
But handwriting and illustrations would show up, and it's not showing up either. So I don't know. These are just, forget them for a minute. When we go and talk about albums and smart albums, then we can come back here and understand a little bit better what the computer is trying to do. But basically, it's the computer thinking for you and saying, oh, here, let me collect all of your receipts here. But, and this is important about albums, but it's not taking them out of the library.
Oh, okay,
In
okay.
the library, right? So wherever this one was, I think they said, I said it was April 10th. There it
Oh,
is. It's
I
still April, there they are. It's still in the library. Okay.
okay. Thank you.
They don't take them out. And this was a document, remember? And here, oh, here's another receipt. Yeah, I guess I have them duplicated.
Okay, okay.
They are
Thank
still here. This was the day that I decided, this day, I decided to take pictures of some of these things so that they would show there. So this is on purpose. I took pictures of some things that looked like documents and like receipts. And then boom, they started appearing in there as receipts and documents. But
so they
other than
will
that,
only be so they will only be lost on these utilities, not on the library.
yeah, so no,
Okay.
don't delete them from here, right? Because if you delete them from there, they'll delete from the library as well. So just,
Oh, wait. You said if you delete it from there in the utilities, it will delete it also from the library. That is
yeah,
my
so here's the deal. Anything that's in an album, and let me start explaining a bit albums a little bit more. Whenever we say about albums, will apply to these, because these are basically Apple albums, but they're still albums. So they operate the same way. Meaning, if I decide that I go in the library and don't like this photo and I delete it, it deletes. Okay.
oh,
But what if I told this photo that I liked it enough to put it in an album called something, right? So here, I'm going to view this one, right? I took it here when I was teaching, bad close-up photo of me. I viewed it, right? If I go to recently viewed, that photo is appearing there now as recently viewed. But it didn't duplicate it. It's just showing it to me as recently viewed. So if I delete it from here, it will also delete from the library. So don't delete photos from albums that you don't want deleted, because one photo, right, can serve many albums. It can be a photo. What if I had a little handwritten note here on my wall? You know, people have live, laugh, love posters. What if it said live, laugh, love behind me? This photo would be in recently viewed. It would appear under handwriting. Maybe it would appear under illustrations. Maybe it would appear under photos of myself album that I put, right? And next thing you know, if I delete the one, it deletes from everywhere, because anything that appears in here, same with memories and trips and pets. If I look at these memories and I don't like, say, this photo, right? If I delete it from this memory, I will be deleting the photo that exists. It hasn't been duplicated into memories. It hasn't been duplicated into trips. Just my 4,000 in your case, or someone's case, or 1,500 photos are one unique photo, and they are being collected from here, like pointing to that one because I just viewed it right there, and pointing to that folder because it's also a duplicate, or pointing to an illustration folder because an illustration. Does that make sense? So they're being collected here for me to see them. Like, you have 1,500 of something. Let me put here all the ones that have handwriting, but it's just extracting them from here so that you can see easily all the handwriting photos. But it is not making a duplicate. So if you delete it from here, that one photo that's being extracted from here will delete itself from here, and all those options will disappear. If that makes no sense, I will keep explaining it in a different way. But if you got the message of what I'm saying, that please do not delete photos from albums that you don't want there, there is an option on the ones that we make to remove from an album, right? So if I make this one and I don't want it in this album anymore, I can remove that from the album, from the ones I made, and I'm going to have us make some now. But from the ones that Apple makes for us, when I right click, there's nothing that says remove from album. The only choice is to delete it. And I do not want to delete this photo because I need it. So if I delete it from here, it will delete also from here. So please, the word delete and remove are very different. Delete deletes that photo, gets rid of it, disappears from your computer, your phone, your cloud, everywhere. Remove from album is like, oh, I don't think this belongs in the album anymore. It's not as beautiful as I thought. I don't want it to be in the Beautiful Buildings album. Okay, I'm going to remove it from the album. It still stays in my library. It just isn't considered a beautiful building anymore. Now, these I made myself. Okay, we're going to learn how to make them. So I can add or remove from these. But these Apple made for me, and it's not giving me the choice to remove. So don't remove because the choice isn't there. Do not delete. Okay. If you got the message, don't delete, give me a yes. If there's any questions about that, I will make some more examples for you. Okay. So if you didn't get it, if you're not clear on the concept, please give me a no. If you got it, give me a yes. Meanwhile, while you guys are answering that, yes, Barbara?
Um, I the duplicates. Now I can't find duplicates.
It's under utilities. So if you collapse your utilities, open your utilities, and there's duplicates. It's under utilities.
But I don't see. You see handwriting, illustrations, see duplicates, hidden. Okay, the first thing under utilities is receipts.
Okay, but you're
And I don't have hidden or duplicates anymore. So
okay,
I
you wouldn't
merged all the duplicates it showed.
Thank you for that. When you don't have duplicates, you won't see it. When you don't have receipts, you won't see it, right? So these are contextual. If you don't have them, you don't see them. So once you merge them, guess what happens? The duplicates disappears, right? And
Okay.
if you haven't hidden any photos, you would not have any hidden album. You would have to hide one first to have a hidden album. Go to library, select any old photo, right click and say hide one photo. Then the hidden album will appear. But if you don't have any hidden albums, it won't be there. Or it could also be that you have said hide hidden album, in which case the hidden album will disappear as well. And if you want to see if you did hide a photo and you want to see it, then you need to go up to view and say show hidden photo album. And then it'll appear. But it will only appear if you have
Oh,
hidden photos. So go to any photo that's the floor, the ceiling. I said take some trashy photos that we can play around with and right click on it and hide it so that then you will have a hidden photo and then you will see whether you need to show or not the hidden album. Now you weren't here last class, but I talked quite a bit about the hidden album, so I'm going to let you
okay.
know
I
that.
haven't watched the video yet either.
So so anything that you don't have here, it's because you didn't do it. So if you've never edited a photo, edited it, meaning changed the lighting, made it darker, lighter, crop, anything like that, then you wouldn't have a recently edited. But if you
Okay.
have been editing photos, then you will have a reason. If you've never shared a photo, texted or emailed a photo, it won't appear. But if you have, see, I just recently texted and shared these 3 photos. We were doing it in class today. So then they show up as recently shared. Does that make sense?
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where the photo is,
Uh-huh.
or like
Exactly.
if I click on documents, I've got
Mm-hmm.
from June 24 to October 25, I've
Yeah.
got 437.
Could, as long as they look like documents. It's the computer organizing all your documents, trying to show them to you here. But remember, don't delete them from here because it's just showing to you from
Going into my computer and
library.
finding the
Hold on.
receipts or handwriting or illustrations and showing them.
Whoops. Oh,
Is that right?
1 second. Something important fell from my desk. Can you say that again? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear
Okay,
you.
when I go to utilities, if
Yeah.
there's receipts, it goes wherever the receipts are and pulls them up and shows them to you.
And shows them to you. Yeah. But it's showing them to you. That's it. It's not duplicating them. So if you
Right.
delete it from here, it's equivalent to deleting it from where it is. So don't
Right.
delete
Well,
them.
I merged all the duplicates, so there's still one of them in there somewhere, right?
Yeah. The duplicates disappeared because you merged them, so you have no more duplicates, right?
Right.
So that's why it disappeared. Remember, if something isn't here, it's because you don't have it, right? If you haven't imported photos in a while, you will not have the imports choice. Does that make sense, you guys, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I didn't.
Fine.
I had no clue
Mhm.
that you could do that. I
Yeah.
just
So that's what's happening here. It's basically telling you. So if I'm going to my my real photo app on the right side that I just set it up because it's a new computer for me and I haven't really opened it much. When I go to my duplicates, it tells me that it found 190 duplicates, but photos will finish scanning for duplicates when you're not using the app, which is the same thing that the people app said, the people and pets, right? That it'll scan when you're not using the app. Okay. It says finding people. So that's because it needs to sit there and run through all the 40,000 photos that I have and keep finding. So it needs time for it open. And so actually that is reminding me to keep my photos open because I didn't keep it open ever since I installed this computer. I need to keep it open but minimized to let the computer work, right? To let the computer do its job and find photos. So, yeah.
okay. Now, if I scroll down,
Uh-huh.
media types and albums is also filed
Yeah.
under
So
utilities.
we're heading
Is
there
that
now.
correct?
So let me head over now into that. I'm going to leave the utilities and head down to media types. So I'm going to collapse albums and I'm going to collapse utilities for a second here just to have a better way to share. And now I'm going to open media types. Once again, media types is the computer looking at all the 1,500 pictures that I have here and choosing to extract, so to say, to show me just my videos under the word videos. It doesn't mean that it's duplicating it. It's just
Right.
using to show me only the videos of all the photos that I have, or only the selfies, or only the live photos, or only the portraits. Now, these are features that your camera can take. So your camera can take portrait. It's not like, oh, it's a portrait of a person. It's the feature called portrait on your camera. If you took a photo in portrait mode, it appears over here. If you took a photo in selfie mode, you know, when you turn that little camera around, it appears here. If you set your camera to videos, it appears here. If you set it to panorama, to time lapse, to slow-mo, that's when these appear over here. Does that make sense? So this is photo camera settings. If you have never taken a screenshot on your phone, you won't have the feature screenshot. If you have never done a slow-mo, you won't have that feature. But if your camera can do it and you have taken one of these, it will work. So in fact, today is Wednesday and you have homework for next Monday. You have to use every one of the features of your camera so that at least one of these appears on your camera. And animated, we actually make on the computer. I'll show you that later. But you need to take at least one video, one selfie, one live photo. So I'm going to show you I'm going to share my camera right now to show you what I'm talking about. So let's share my camera. And I'm going to take 1 second here to do something here on this phone. Why did it not appear? Screen sharing is paused. Why? Oh, because the camera wasn't open. Resume. I'm going to reshare. My phone isn't sharing. While I'm sharing my phone that isn't sharing. Yes, Josie, what's your question?
I'd like to know what time is the break?
Oh, did I pass the time without? Yikes. Where's my yeah, oh, it's about to be, so we can yeah, we're about midway. It's usually like at 3, but yeah, we can do it.
Josie, you have a hot date?
No,
What's
but I also have to leave at early at 3:30. So
oh,
today's Wednesday.
that's true. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a break
Thank you.
since I'm about to start with something else and the camera didn't share itself.
Thank you.
Whoa, I was muted. Some people do a lot of stuff during break and some people don't. If you're one of the ones who has nothing to do during break, take your photos, take your camera, which is, why is my screen sharing paused? Every time I try to share my phone. Let me stop my share and start again. My phone isn't sharing. Let me see, one last time. Is the phone sharing now? There we go. Wow. I don't know why it was posted. Okay, so what I was going to say is, since your homework between here and Monday is to take photos of each kind, some of you might want to go out right now and walk around the block because that's a good thing to do in our 15-minute break. And you can take your camera, and this is what I'm talking about. You would take a portrait, a photo, a video, a slow-mo, a time lapse, okay? And over here, a pano. Now, when we come back, I'll show you how to take each one of these without this being necessarily a taking photo class. I want to make sure you know how to use each one. And for example, in my newer phone, I have a couple more options. I have spatial and cinematic. I have a couple more options. So depending on the size, the age of your of your um, of your camera, you might have more features or less. Okay, so I'm going to stop that share. I just wanted to clarify that's what I'm saying about media types. It's what your photo camera can, your phone camera can do. And if it can do or not do these features, then it'll do that. And then screenshots and selfies would be if you turn the camera around or if you do a screenshot, which is what I taught a little bit earlier. Okay. All right. So now let's take a break.
Okay. I think I got it.
What time is it? It's 2:53. Can somebody help me figure out 15 minutes? 53, so that would be 3:10.
3:18.
What
time is it? I had it just a second ago.
is it 3:13?
No, 308, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Say that again. Be back at 3:08.
Yeah.
Okay. Have fun. See you guys in 15. Bye.
Hi. Okay, so um,
All right, I'm back. Hopefully you are too. And some people in the waiting room. Here we go. All right. Hi. All right. I see Owen waving at me. Anyone else who's normally turns on their video, please do so. And if you don't, then at least give me a little yes to show me that you are alive on the other side of the screen. Okay. Hmm. Some stuff going on here that I need to put away.
Did you tell us how to merge all the duplicates? Or do we have to go through them pair by pair?
No, there's a choice there to merge all, or I gave you a Command A. I mean,
Okay,
yeah. All right. I think someone was just giving me a thumbs
something
up.
bubbling up.
What's up?
Somebody's name went sort of rising or sort of like bubbling up, floating up.
Yeah.
Sarah Jane bubbled.
Oh, there we
Okay.
go. All right. All right. So I was about to start talking about the different choices that our camera has, and then I showed you really quickly on the camera what I was talking about. Did anyone have any time during break to explore those choices? Now, I'm going to start having you guys give me a yes or no answer. So I'm going to clear your answer. I want everyone to go to videos. If you have videos in your phone and you click on videos and you see videos and that means you have used the videos, then give me a yes.
Wait a second. So this is in
On your computer.
on your computer or
You
your
can
phone?
also look at it on your phone. The whole point is that you would have them in your computer if you did this on your phone,
All
right?
right.
Because where we take the video or the selfie or the live photos, we take these on the phone. Does that make sense?
Right. So that would be under media types.
Under media types, yeah. So you open up media types if it's closed, and then you start going down these, and it even tells me I have 85 videos.
Yeah.
I have 68 selfies. I have 56 live photos. I have 208 portraits. Okay. So these are things that you have or don't have. So let's start with videos. Give me a yes if you have videos. Okay. All right. So I'm going to, hold on, I have a mistake happening here. I need to. All right. I had a thing happening here on my other computer that I had set up that was warning me. So I need to give me 1 second. I have something that's a warning that's happening on this side of the world, and I don't want to have that issue. So I apologize, but because if I don't deal with this right now, I'm going to have a big problem on my hand. So I'm just going to deal with that way when we talk. There we go. Okay. I'm updating. I'm doing some stuff over there, and it was needing me to say yes to a few things. And if I didn't do it now, I don't know, it'll give me an error mistake or something. Okay, so I see yeses from everyone. So you've all taken a video or not. Angie, I don't know if Angelina is there, if you didn't say yes. But just in case, if you're there or not, I'm gonna head down to the next one, which is selfies. Does everyone know how to take a selfie? Give me a yes if you found some selfies there. And selfies are mostly of yourself, but now and then a selfie can also be if you've turned your camera around to photograph something that's above you. It's not typical, but there are possibilities of not having selfies. And that's from the front camera. And the front camera is never as good quality as the back camera, just so you know. But the better and better they make the phones, the better the selfies are, right? So my old selfies over here with the front camera on my iPhone 6 was quality wise not such a good photo, but then I'm over here with my latest camera, iPhone 15, and the camera of the selfie is really good right now. All right. Any questions about how to take a selfie or a video, let me know. Other than that, I'm going to move on to live photos. There's always questions about live photos. So here I'm asking you if you have live photos, if you have them, but also the question is if you have any questions about how to do a video or a selfie or all these things, let me know. One thing I would recommend on videos is to make sure that your videos are always short. Sorry, I was busy taking care of the thing that was happening on my computer when I went through videos and I forgot to tell you that if you take a video, that video, 1 second of a video is worth, in fact, I think they'll show it here. Give me a second while I go to the settings here. No, I'm gonna have to do it on my phone. On your settings of your phone. Let me share my phone. I'm trying to, last time sharing my phone was complicated. Hopefully this time it'll work. I see Martha, your hand. Give me a second. So I'm going to go over to my phone settings and I'm going to go to the camera settings, right? And that was here from before. But I just wanted to show you. Oh, this is the Photos app, not the camera app. Camera app. Give me a second. You don't need to do this. I'm just trying to show you over here. This is my old phone. Okay. When I go to the settings for my camera, it tells me that it can record video at 180 and this has to do with resolution and stuff like that at 30 FPS, which is frames per second. That's pixels, and this is frames per second, or 240 frames per second. And I was trying to pull up my other camera, the one I can't share, but this is an old iPhone 10. If you go to the camera settings on the new phone, I can also do 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. So that's the resolution that it's going to shoot at. So what does that mean? So I can't do that right now on this one, but I can do it in on my new phone at 60 frames per second or slow-mo at 240 frames per second. What that means is that 1 second of slow motion is equivalent to 240 photos, or 1 second of 1080, which is good quality, is 30 photos. 1 second. So if you take 10 seconds, right, of video, which is a short video, that's 30 times 10. That's 300 photos worth for a 10-second video. Now, on my other phone where I can take 60 frames per second, that means that 600 photos for 1 second of video. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the reason I wasn't needing you to go over here, I'm just trying to impress upon you that be very careful with your videos that you take, because 1 second, and no one takes 1 second of a video, you take 2, 3, 5, 10 seconds. It's equivalent to hundreds and hundreds of photo. So imagine if you take a 30-second video, forget a 1-minute video. It's like thousands of photos. So your phone gets clogged not with photos, but with videos. Okay. Um, so anyway, here's the video feature, right? And when you take a video over here at the top right, let me get the little annotation. It's showing you that right now this is going to take a video at 30 frames per second, right? So if I was to click and start playing in 10 seconds, I will have taken the equivalent of 300 photos. All right. So when you look at your videos, you need to be very careful and see if it's worth that 5 minutes that you are playing around with your video, because that will be a video that will be so humongous as a file because it's all those thousands of photos in one little video that it will really, not only fill up your computer, but it would also be a file that would be so huge that it would be hard to handle and it would really slow down your whole app. If you're going to take pictures of a situation that you're seeing in front of you, take, for a little bit, then stop, then take another little bit, then stop, then take a little bit and stop. And then you can choose to throw away the ones that you don't like. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's just a recommendation. And then here on the left side of the video, that's the slow-mo. And to the left of this video is the time lapse. And then whenever I come to this class, unless you've taken the class before, there's consistently people who've never taken a slow-mo or a time lapse. So those in particular are going to be the hardest ones. You can't just go and do it right now. I'm going to show you some samples, but your homework for this weekend is to take a slow-mo and a time lapse. And ideally, if you've never taken a pano. Most people have taken portraits and photos. We'll see, maybe not everyone, but pano over here. And in my newer phone, I have something called spatial. And in my video, next to my videos, I have something called cinematic. Okay, so I'm going to tell you about those. But right now, at the very least, we have slow-mo and time lapse. So to take a slow-mo,
I have a quick question. Why would someone want to take slow-mo?
yeah, so that's what I'm about to show you in a minute. I'm going to show you some slow-mos and some time lapses, and then you can decide. Meanwhile, yes, what's your question, Marta, before I show that, because your hand's been up really patiently?
So if I do have a video that I took for a long period of time and I don't want it taking up space, other than downloading it, is there any other option if I wanted to keep it?
Yeah, so the last day of this class, which is next, is it next? Let me see. We still have this, we have today, tomorrow, and we have one more day, which is November 24th. Usually it's the last day of class that I deal with videos. And then I'll show you how to edit, how to clip, how to make that into, like, you take the pieces you want and you discard the rest, okay?
Oh,
So
that'd be great. Thank you so much.
the video, but I'm not going to cover that today. But just remember to make sure that you can make it to class November 24th. Otherwise, if a lot of people want to know that kind of stuff, I could advance it to the next week. But November 24th is a little bit weird. Some people are already moving off to for an early Thanksgiving or something. But it's usually the last day of the iLife class that I just spend all the time doing video. Okay. So now I'm going to share my screen to show you slow-mo and time-lapse photos. So jumping over to slow-mo. You have on your hand the possibility of doing a video that would be, and I know I have three. I'm not sure which one is the better one, but I'm going to show you. All I did is I turned on the tap in my kitchen and I photographed it, right? And this is a slow-mo. It's not very exciting, but I think I put my hand in there at some point and it starts splashing. I don't know if it's this one.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, cool. So it's kind of fun. Look at that. Woo! Look at that. Looks fun, doesn't it? Now, this was probably, see how long it took to show you this? It took 23 seconds to show you this video, but it probably took me 5 seconds of video to get that. So I turn on the tap and turn on the water. I shouldn't have done that. Next time I'm gonna turn on the tap, turn on the water, put my hand under the water and then press go for like 5 seconds and stop. And that'll turn into this 23 minutes of like my stuff, jumping all over the place in water, and it could be so fun. Now, you can find better reasons for that. You could put your camera on a tripod and have a flower open, that kind of stuff. But no, not a flower open. That's the time lapse. I'm sorry. It has to be something fast. So that's the whole point. And you capture it doing it slowly, which is the whole point. And you get all these nice things. Now, I don't think you'll do many in your life unless you're someone for whom that's important, that feature, that whatever. But maybe it's fun to have, I took some slow-mo videos of, was it last Thanksgiving or 2 Thanksgivings ago? We went to celebrate Thanksgiving with a family, had one of those big piles of leaves in their yard, like in the East Coast or whatever, they collect all these big piles of leaves, and the kids were jumping into it. And I turn on my slow-mo, and then you just see the kid jumping into the leaves and floating the leaves, and it's just fun. So anyway, that's slow-mo. Okay. But it has to be something fast, and be careful because even it's 5 seconds on and off turns into a really long video. Okay. Because it's taking 204. So this is a 23 seconds of video at 240 frames per second times 23. There's like so many, this is like, thousands of photos to take that. Okay. And then time lapse is the opposite. You need to find something that's really quick. So there was a day when it was very, very windy and the clouds were moving, and I wanted it to move really quickly. So I pointed up to the ceiling. I have power lines. There's little flaggies in the way. And I pointed up to the sky, and the flags, see how fast they're flapping, but look at the clouds, how they're going really fast. And they weren't going that fast. It was a fast cloud day, but not that fast. Okay. Another one, this one is we have chickens at home, and the chickens came out and ate something and went away in a normal chicken fashion. And yet over here, they do it really quickly. And then off they go. So that is a time lapse. Now, in order to take this picture, it's the opposite of the other one. This is a total of, I think this whole thing is 25 seconds, but I had to stand there for like 3 minutes videoing them, or 4 minutes. I had to put my my camera really, really stiff. Like I put my elbows against my body, and I turned it on and waited for the chickens to do their thing back, and I kept shooting and shooting. When I finally stopped, I ended up with this 23-second video, but it took me a long time to get 23 seconds. It took me like 4 or 5 minutes pointing at them. I don't know how, I don't remember how much now anymore, because it goes by so fast. Okay. So find something that's happening normal and that you want to see it really quickly. And if you have a tripod, again, you can point towards a flower, and then you can see it opening up in the morning. Those kind of photos, those are done with time lapse. Now you would have to have it open for a long time to see the flower do that, but there's some other things in between, like in this case that you just see them sped up. Okay. So do at least one of each. Here I have a tree, a palm tree waving in the wind, and it's waving really fast, much faster than it did normally. It was just regular wind, and suddenly it looks like it was a hurricane, but it was just, regularly windy. And that's because that was a time lapse of it. Okay. Any questions about that? It works the same way as a video. You just press the button on and off, but you have to hold it really long for a time lapse, and you have to go really quickly, a really short one for a slow-mo. All right. Any questions? All right. So then
I'm sorry. I have a question.
Yeah.
What is a burst? And also I noticed sometimes when you take a picture, there's like a halo that goes on the outline of the person, like a little white lightning.
Oh, yeah. I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah. So a burst, interestingly enough, the last burst I had, I must have deleted. See, when I give samples of deleting them, I always have bursts here to show. I must have deleted it. So let me do a burst right now and see if I can demo you a burst because that's weird that I can't. I don't have one. Okay. So it used to be that people had bursts all the time because bursts were easy to make by mistake. And what's a burst? It's when you point to something that's happening fast and you get a burst. Oh, the photos that I deleted the other day, I must have deleted that burst. Oh, it was such a good one too. Oh, I'm so sad that that one was a good example. Anyway, I deleted like a bunch of photos of here to lighten up my sample thing, and because my cloud is getting full, my teaching cloud is getting full. But I got rid of that burst, which was a really good one. Again, it was an example of that girl jumping into a pile of leaves in Thanksgiving, and I photographed it with a burst. So what does a burst mean? You It's made for like sports photographers where suddenly you have action happening really quickly in front of you. In real life, I say it's really good for dog owners or kid photographers, your grandkids or I don't have one here, so I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask you to share your screen because I don't have a burst here to show you. And what happens is that when you press in the past, when you pressed your button to take a picture, if you pressed too long, if you kept pressing, it would keep taking pictures. So suddenly you thought you were taking one photo and instead you took 20 photos or 50 photos. You know what I mean? It was just a burst of photos all at once. And that's how they take pictures of, the football players or, then you get the guy dunking the ball in the basket and you wouldn't catch it otherwise. It's just because you did a burst and you took like 50 photos of that movement. So it's like a photo version of a slow-mo where you go, but each one is a photo. And then that one photo, when there's that exact moment that they're jumping up, that's the one, right? So you get to choose it. Most of us don't do that, right? Most of us do a burst by mistake. So we have bursts that we don't mean to have. It used to be by mistake that people would hold on to that button too long. So now they made the bursts much harder to do. And now I just made a burst, but let me actually do a better burst. Now to get a burst, look at my camera. Have I stopped sharing? Yeah. So now to do a burst, you can't make them by mistake so much. Let me spotlight myself. Can you see me? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this is my phone. I have a cover on it. I'm going to point towards my computer and the button that's the up volume. So there's the low volume and up volume. I'm going to press the up volume and watch. I'm going to go click and hold and let go. So I just took 29 or 30 photos by pressing that up volume. That's a burst. So whenever that burst shows up in my computer, from my camera to my computer, I'll show it to you. And that's a boring burst, but that's the best I could do, but because I was just trying to, but that's a burst. Now I will, guess I can show it to you on my phone while it's working its way into my computer. Let me share my phone because that's a lot of photos that need to come in at this point. It's like 50 photos because I did 2 bursts. So here's my phone. Okay. And let me go to my album, to my photos album. And here you have all the photos that I just took. And remember, these 2 are always at the end. I should change their time because they keep looking. It's just that I put them as 2028, so it always looks like they're the last few photos. But no, these 2 are the 2 bursts that I just took. Okay. So I'm going to click on this one, and you see how it's almost like it has more photos behind it. Anyway, I'm going to click on this one, and when I click on it, it says burst of 30 photos. You see that? So I took 30 photos in that little tiny second. When I clicked and dragged across, I took 30 photos. So I want to see those 30 photos. I'm going to go over here to that thing that says burst. And here are my 30 photos of that moment. And I'm going to put my mouse right here, and I'm going to drag side to side. Whoops, I didn't mean that side to side. Move over here. Burst of 30 photos. I need to go back to the burst. There you go. And I'm going to go side to side, and each one of these, there, it finally got to me. I just kind of did this thing where I did, so I took 30 photos by pressing that thing all at once. You see that? And I happen to be panning my camera around, so the photos all change. A more typical burst would be this boring one, the first one I took, which it says burst 18 photos. And when I click on them, all 18 photos show me the same thing. There's barely any change, because that's a typical burst that you did by mistake, that you didn't mean to do, right? And you pressed for too long, and suddenly you have 18 photos of the exact same moment. So if so, you can choose one and keep it and get rid of the rest. So say that I meant to take this one photo. I'm going to select here one photo by clicking on that, right? So I only wanted one. I didn't want 18. And then when I say done, it says, would you like to keep the other 17 photos in this burst? Oh yeah, no, it was purposeful. I want all of them. Or if I say that, then they all become individual 17 photos instead of being all under one. If I say, no, keep only one favorite. So I'm going to say, okay, keep only one favorite. So now the other 17 disappear, and I've got the one. Now, if that was a mistaken burst, that's a perfect thing to do. Get rid of all the other, otherwise there were 17 photos in here. The other one, on the other hand, is also a burst of 30 photos. And if I instead wanted each one of these for some reason, because they were all important, then I can choose many, or I can choose messy. It's a typical of when you photograph a group, maybe you do a burst of 10 pictures, and then you'll see in this one, Aunt Larry's eyes were open. I'm going to select it. No, everyone's grimacing here. Oh, here, everyone's smiling. I'll select that one. And then how about this one? Oh, yeah, this one was good. So I'll select that one. No, I don't want that one. I don't want that one. I want that one. Oh, this one's good here. I'll select that one. You know what I mean? So you select the ones that you want. And in this case, I'm going to go and select this one that has me a little bit, then this one in the middle. And so now I have selected 5 of my 30 photos. I've selected 5 of them. So then when I say done, keep everything. Do I want 25 photos all displayed, or do I want to keep only 5? Now keep only 5. So now when I go to my all photos, and I go to my photos app, I will see at the bottom of my library, I now see them as 5 photos. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that was the one of the other. So it's not a burst anymore. Does that make sense? And this is what I do with my bursts. I show them and then I undo them so they're not a burst anymore. So now I have to take another photo burst so it keeps here as a sample, because I have opened up the burst, choose the ones I want, and now I have all those photos of that same moment of burst. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and take another burst right now. Again, I point my camera to something. Look at my desk, it's a mess. Look at all my monitors that I have in front of me. So I'm gonna press and hold, and I'm gonna go click, 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 click. And it's like taking pictures, taking pictures, taking pictures. Good, this time my burst was even bigger. I think I got, how many photos in there? My burst this time has 40 photos. Okay, I'm going to leave that there as a sample so that at some point this 40 photos will appear in my computer. But the other ones are the ones that I opened up. I'm going to do one more quick little burst here of just a few photos so I can have one more to share. So this is going to be a new burst. I'm just going to go through my keyboard. There we go. So that one probably has more like 10 photos. Yes, Yolanda.
Diana, when you said something like, do you want to keep 5 of this from the burst? I don't remember. It's probably just my brains seeing those reminder that like you have five burst photos in here. Do you want to remove them? Did you put that 5 photos in there, or did it automatically come?
Here, one of the bursts just appeared on my computer. Hold on.
Oh, I see.
Here,
Okay.
let me just show you it I just took it on my phone, so it just appeared on my computer. Okay. So here's the thing. See how now I go to the media and suddenly there's a burst that wasn't there before? That's because that's the burst that I just took. Okay. And when you go to bursts, the photo, it's one photo, one burst. I tried to take one, but when I actually open it, see how it has more like little areas in it. When I double click on it, it tells me right here that I have to make a selection of this burst. So I'm going to click on make a selection, and it's 1, 2, or 3 photos. See down here? It's 3 photos was that burst. 1, 2, and 3. Got it?
Yes, but what I was saying is that did it remind you, or did it alert you to remove those? Because
No, I chose them. And again, these are not that important, but remember, and I wish I had it here. I'm gonna have to take some other good photo of a burst because it's gone. I had a good sample. Normally when you do it on purpose, I did a burst of just little kids in my family jumping into a pile of leaves. So I purposely pressed that button and took a burst. So then when you look at the burst of 30 photos, you get to choose which of those 30 are the good ones. And I caught one of those 30 where the kid was in the air, the leaves were flying, it was perfect. So I kept that one and not the rest. But in this case, when you look at these 3, it's like, I don't know, between this one or that one, what's the difference? They're just, it says make a selection. So this is the computer version of what you do with a burst. You click make a selection and it shows you this photo or this photo here or this photo here. Of
yeah.
those 3, there's not much difference. Who cares? I keep any one of them, right? Because it was kind of a mistaken burst, so to say. I wasn't purposely focusing on something interesting. So they're all the same. So I click on make a selection and there I have the 3 possible choices. I don't care. None of them. I'll keep all 3 in this case because I want to keep them as a sample. But if I were to choose this one because it's the best one, I'll go to the 3rd one. This is the best one. I select that myself. When I say done, it's going to delete the other 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
To you to choose which one of the bursts you want to keep. And if one seems much better than the rest, you select that one and you keep the rest. Or in 30 photos, you might decide to keep 20 of them because 20 were really good. And then when you say done, it gets rid of the burst and now you'll have 20 photos in your library. That's the point I'm trying to make. The burst disappears and then you have 20 photos in your library. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank
It's
you.
not, it doesn't stay as a burst. It stays a burst as long as you still have them in burst mode, which is why I'm not going to get rid of this one. That's why the others that I just took disappeared because in the phone, I already dealt with the burst. And so when they came into the computer, they weren't a burst anymore. This one, I took a burst and I didn't get rid of it. And so it's coming in. It shows up as one photo, but there's 3 inside of there. Okay. Um, And how I did them when you want to know how to do them on purpose, not as a mistake, is now before you had to hold down the play button, and that's why many people had bursts by mistake. Now it's harder. You have to hold the up volume and point and keep holding it tight, and each time you go try it, and you'll hear the camera going click, 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 and it just clicked 40 times when it did that one that I ended up sharing with you guys on the phone. But by sub-selecting one out of the 40, I only kept one and the rest disappeared. Okay, if you guys were able to see a burst, do a burst, understand a burst, give me a yes. If you don't have one, then make one, okay? Because the homework is to make one of each of these things. So if you don't have a burst, then your homework is to make a burst happen and have a burst, make two bursts happen at least, and then you'll have one burst so that you can learn how to deal with it and delete it and it'll disappear. And then you'll have one burst left that you can see as a sample. Okay. So how many people, do you have a lot of bursts? And if so, are they from like when you had older phones? Because that's when it was a really easy to make bursts in the past until they moved it from the start. Like I remember giving my mom a phone and saying, "Here, take a picture of my husband and I." She was with us, and she just took three pictures. Took three pictures. Later, when I went to the camera, she had pressed it so hard that she had taken 50 pictures each time. I had 150 pictures of my husband and I just standing there, waiting for one photo, right? So it's 150 pictures of us just standing there. So I had to go and delete, 149 of them. Does that make sense? So before it used to be so easy by mistake to make them that people had bursts all over. Now you forcefully have to make them happen, which is good because now when you want to make them happen, then you can, and then you end up with a great photo of some action thing that you wouldn't have been able to stop in the air before, right? But it's harder to make them happen. Okay, I'm seeing lots of yeses, so I guess you guys have, I don't see yeses from down there from Marta, but anyway, I think you probably are okay. Colette, all right, I'm gonna clear your feedbacks. All right, so then panoramas. Panoramas are when you have something that's just too much to put in one photo. And as you can see, I went crazy with panoramas this summer on my trip. Lots and lots of panoramas. But the typical example I have is this one where have you ever gone to Arches National Park and tried to take a picture of one of the arches? You can't. They're huge, right? And so you can't tell in this photo. It just looks like a photo of an arch, but this is a panorama, which is just as impressive as, this is at the top of Parma Park here in Santa Barbara. Right? But then sometimes you want to take a whole image in, like this was my son years ago when he had appendicitis, and this is the hospital room. Have you ever tried to take a picture inside of a room? It's like you get one little bit of it, right? So this was a pano of the room, and it looks like a really big room, but it's just a pano. So sometimes you can do that from your inside for something. So there's different reasons why you might do a pano. Now this is at the redwoods, and again, you take a picture of the redwoods and you just get that much. You can't even tell you're in redwoods. So even though it's just the base of the trees, this gives you a bit of an idea of the scale of the redwoods. Now I'm going to show you how to do a pano, but there's a photo that doesn't appear in pano. That's a really cool photo. Oh, and by the way, this is an example of this is a town square. It's literally you're inside of a patio that's a square and there's buildings on four sides. And when you take a pano of that, they end up like splayed open like this. It's kind of weird. So the angles are all weird. And this woman was walking in front of me. So she appears in the pano without a leg and without an arm and half a foot right there because she was moving. And so the camera wasn't able to capture everything. And over here, this woman has four legs. Look at that. One, two, no, three legs and 4 feet. And this kid's, so be careful when people are moving around.
With her head.
Because, yeah, and it's just weird, or her long head here. So anyone who's in the edges. Now, I don't have a sample here, but when my kids were little, they had fun. They would stand on this side of me. I would start my pano. I'm panoing, and they'd run behind me and appear over here. So I'd see them here and here, right? As I'm taking the picture of, the Grand Canyon. They're here. As I'm doing that, boom, they ended up here. And so I appear them twice. So you can play with it. It's fun. But yeah, you also get like, don't have people moving, they need to be, this woman was moving towards me. So it kind of worked. But these two got, I just try to show you that because it's funny. But then again, this is also a square. And that one I was in the middle. This I'm near one building. And it's a square. It's a square patio, so to say, with four buildings around me, but I'm near one. So then as I did that, they all appear curved and weird because everything is changing. So this is, of course, it's still a good memory of the place, but it's not like it really shows the square place, right? Anyway, versus this is a perfect use of a pano where you get this whole area in that you wouldn't get otherwise. But I want to show you another photo of a pano, which people don't think of. So let me go to, let me write New York in the search. Here we go. So this is a subway station, and I
Oh.
did a pano with my camera in the other direction. By doing it in that direction, the computer doesn't seem to recognize it as a pano, but I know I did it. So I'm taking that, I'm showing it to you. This was an amazing ceiling. I'm standing right under this. This is an incredible building in New York. And so I'm standing here like at a balcony, which is when you first enter the train station, the subway station, then you have to go down and go into the different places. And that was like a mall in there. And so I did the pano. Imagine if this was instead of the camera going side to side, I went down to up. So I know somewhere I have some of the redwood trees that way too. So you can change. You don't need to do only side to side. But anyway, but the computer doesn't consider it a pano, so it doesn't appear in panoramas because the movement was different, right? But anyway, but that was also taken with the pano feature, so you can have some fun with it. Okay, so how do we take a pano? Let me share my phone with you guys. Okay, my phone's about to turn on. And again, I'm going to do the most boring panos in the world, which is here in front of my monitors. But actually, truly, if I tried to take a picture right now of these monitors, right? Hold on. I can't move. I have all these computers here, right? And if I try to take a picture of that, I couldn't in one shot take this picture. So what
I'm
matters?
so jealous.
Me
So
too.
if I were to take this picture right now, I would get one at a time, but I'm going to take it in pano mode. So see how I switched to pano mode right here? I switched to pano mode, right? And so when you switch to pano mode, you can either, it's telling you, you either have to go from left to right, or I'm going to delete that. You can touch this arrow, click on the arrow, and now you can go from right to left. You can choose. So just touching the arrow changes the direction, right? So I'm actually going to go this way. I'm going to do left to right. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'll say, okay, I have to move continuously when taking a pano and in the same direction. Like I can't be going up or down. You have to be in the same direction. So ideally, what I do when I take a real pano is I stand very still and I just kind of move the top of my body and I do this so that I'm on the same direction. Okay, so I'm about to do it. So I'm going to go press this button, and the moment I press, I am going to start moving, 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 and at a certain speed. And if I go too slow, it warns me. And if I go too fast, it warns me. So I'm moving, 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 moving. And there it says slow down, and now I'm done. So I'm going to stop it. So I just got this photo, which see how my monitors are not square anymore? They're kind of curved, but that's because, whoops, that's because I was too close to them. So it distorts the shapes. Sorry, but it gets everything in it. Does that make sense? So you can sit and get almost 360, not 360, but you can stand in front of a view. Keep your feet rooted in the middle and then move your waist to one side and then kind of do this movement and move your waist to the other side with your arms, but don't, and that's the way to take a pano. Okay, so you kind of move your body with the camera side to side. And if you're going too fast, it says slow down. And if you're going too slow, it'll say speed up. Okay, but the important thing is to keep it in order. Let me just give you an example of me doing it wrong, where I'm kind of moving. I'm going to do like this, and I'm going to kind of go up. See, I'm going too fast, and it says slow down, and then I'm going to kind of move down a bit, and now I'm done. So the final picture is see what happened to this monitor? It's all crooked, and then the black kind of breaks up over there. Anyway, because I've moved up and down and done stuff like that. So that's what happens if you move badly. I mean, the photo's still in there somewhere, but it's badly. So that's a pano. Any questions about panos?
I have
No.
a couple of landscape panos here. I'm looking at mine, and they do make up. They don't look like your interior um, subway shot. They just look like a slice of a photo that's very tall.
Um, if you did it upwards,
I don't know how I did it. Yeah, I've got one. Yeah, I've got
I'm
two
gonna
of them.
share your screen.
Sure.
So what I did for the subway is I started pointing down, I pressed the go, and then I moved my camera up like that. So then it got the ceiling, and I did that for the trees too.
I have
Um,
no idea what I did,
yeah, no, this is sides. This is sideways. Oh, here you have one.
but
Here
see
you
if I
have
click
one.
on if I click on it, this is what I get.
Yeah, so that's because you went down to up. Oops.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to
An
get.
example of getting a ton, like your camera might have seen only this, but you pointed from the ground to the sky and you got all of that. So that's like I had the subway in front of me, and so it looked that way. But that's that same idea. Go backwards a bit.
I don't remember.
Go back in this arrow to go back to all your panos.
I don't
This
know
arrow
how
that I'm
to do
pointing there.
that. Oh, there it is. Okay. And
So for the most part, the rest are correct. The rest are correct. And then you have here another one of those where you went from bottom to the top
yeah,
that you didn't mean to. And you probably noticed something was wrong and you stopped it so it didn't go too far. And then you moved over to photo mode. And so you just got this little bit. Yeah. But the
but
rest of them are correct.
it's sort of fun.
It is fun. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Correct or not correct isn't really important, right? It's did it work? Did it give you something interesting, right?
Yeah.
Look at those beautiful hills and clouds. You would have gotten one little bit like that had you taken as a picture, but instead you got that.
This is probably the one that I did what I thought I was going to do.
And then here you were trying to do the same, but you probably clicked and started it,
Yeah.
stopped it, and so then it did this for you, which is still a really cute little slice of life, but
Yeah.
it's sideways, yeah. Um, cool. Now you can select it and switch it so that it stands up if you want, okay, in the edit mode. And go ahead and select it. And I haven't taught you edit mode yet, but just really quickly, so that double click on it. I'm going to just show you really quickly how you can. And then over here,
Edit.
go into edit. Yeah, and if you go, oh, because it shows it to you open. That's interesting. Go to crop because it's already showing it to you in the up position. Go to crop. I think it doesn't show it to you in the up position, and there's not, because this is where you would have adjusted it to shift it, but it looks like when it shows it, it already shows it that way. So it knows that this is sky and this is floor. It didn't, it in the preview, it's showing it to you sideways like that, but when you open it, it shows it this way. So I guess there's not much for you to flip. All right, so I guess not. Okay, just say done and don't do anything. Yeah. When you go back, it shows it to you sideways, but when you open it up, it shows it to you in the right position. Yeah, so there's not much to, so weird. It doesn't show it to you like long here.
Yeah, I wasn't complaining when I mentioned it. I just
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
interesting that
It's interesting. Yeah. If you know what you're doing and you use it on purpose, it's really fun.
also my grandson used to do things and he must have known things that I didn't know because he did lots of things that wouldn't have occurred to me, but were fairly cool.
There you go. All right, cool. I'm gonna stop your share. That's great. Okay, anything else about panos? So your homework, remember, is you're going to have to do one of each of all of these at least, if not more than one. And you can find one spot and do one of each in that same spot. It's not like I need you to be like, you know, tons of different photos, but you can just try to get a bit of each. Now, selfies, of course, is you turning the camera around. If you know how to do that, that's good. Live photos and portraits. I want to talk about these and about raw really quickly. And then looking at the time, because I want to make sure that I have some time to get into albums and all that. Okay, so we're gonna focus on all of albums, all the rest of the class, the next few classes. Okay, so here we go. I'm in live photos. So live photos is, for the most part, a problem as far as I'm concerned. And every now and then it's good. And a live photo is really a video.
Yeah.
It's a 2-second video.
Okay.
But it doesn't show up as a video. It shows up as a photo. If I double click on this thing, which was not meant to be a live photo, it doesn't do a video thing. Versus if I go to a video and I open a video, and
I'm,
I can actually play a video. Got it? You can play a video.
We're
I
not
can't
seeing
see you.
your,
I mean,
Oh.
I'm seeing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
we're seeing you, but not your screen.
I hear you. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so I was saying if you go to a video and you open a video, this little play thing goes and you can play it and it's an actual video, right?
Yeah.
But a live photo is a video, and yet if you go to that, there's no play here, right? It doesn't like play for you. If you want it to play and it was a mistake, see over here where it says live? I'm going to hover over this word live. Let me just show you again what I mean. Right at the top right, top left, it says right. It says live, right? So when I put my mouse over that word live, there's my video. And clearly it wasn't meant to be. And most of the live photos are by mistake when you leave the live feature on your phone, because I wasn't purposely making this happen. So again, when would you purposely make a live photo happen? For example, again, when there's some movement that you want to capture, or when you're trying to do it on purpose to make a little animation feature. So here again, don't know, I'm taking a picture of this, and yet it was in live mode. So nothing special happens. But you can see it's a video because people are moving, right? So how do you not do it when you don't want it, and how you do it when you do want it? Now, this one is one that I did on purpose, that I did, look at the dirty band-aid I had in my hand, but I purposely made a live picture where I'm waving, right? So I purposely started waving so that I could have that live have something slightly meaningful, right? Now, I don't see the point of that, but the whole point is that you can loop these things and make them into little animations. So if I go to my animated and you go, what's animated? I didn't have an animated. That was a live picture that got made into an animation. So let me give you an example. If I go to this one and I want to make it constantly loop, so I'm always waving, I would have to edit. So I'm going to go over to the edit on the far right. And I go down here where it says live, and I can choose, instead of live, I can choose, oh my God. I caught it. I've been having mosquitoes the last week and I don't know where they're coming from. And this one was just on my fingers and I just caught it. Yay. Okay. So you go down to live and I can say I want to loop it. So now it's going to go up and down, and it's going to keep waving. See how it doesn't stop? And I'm just constantly waving. It's such a, I should do it one where I have better light. It's constantly waving. If I do that and say done, that has turned into an animated photo. So the animated is me looping my live photos. Okay. So it's like, that's how you get your animated. So once again, I go to a live photo. and I want to repeat whatever movement was happening in it on purpose. And this is when I think these are some purposeful ones. I started approaching, no, not that one. Then I did them on purpose, but they're hard, because they're just a second. So here, I swooped across these when I was clicking my go, right? Yeah. So if I now edit this one and make it be a long exposure, for example, then that's kind of a funky result. I'm going to make it bounce. So it's going to go back and forth, then back and forth, then back and forth. Okay. Or I'm going to loop it. Whoops. It's going to keep constantly looping. Okay. Or back to live. Now, if you didn't mean to make it, and this is what most people say, can I not have it be live? Well, unfortunately, yes. I mean, yes, fortunately, yes, you can turn it off, but it's a video. And thus, one live photo is worth like 10 photos because it's really a video. So even if I turn it off and I say done, it doesn't stop from being a live photo. It just doesn't stop. If I hit edit, I can always turn the feature on again. Okay. It says that it's not live anymore, but it's still the 10 photos because if I go back into live and turn it on again, it's still a live photo. You see that? You can't eliminate the fact that it is like 20 photos worth or whatever. If it's at 30 frames per second and it's a second and a half, maybe it's 45 photos for this one little tiny second, but you don't see the 45 photos, you just see the little mini video. So this file is going to be bigger. You're going to, but yeah, you can turn it off and say, no, don't play the live, but it still is a live photo. You can turn it on or off again. So if you do it on purpose, that's pretty cool. But if you didn't mean it, how do you get rid of it? I'm going to stop my share and take you back to the camera. Because that's where we take those live photos in the camera. So here we go. So if I notice if I look at my camera at the very top, and this is a bit different in my new camera, actually, and my new phone, it's a little bit different. So let me open it here so I have it next to me to show you what it's like on my new phone. Okay. But over here on my phone on the far right, it's a bit confusing because I'm here. I'm gonna just sit here. You see this circle there? It says no. That's because I've turned the live feature off. If I touch that, now the live feature is on. And by default, live is always on. So if I were to click this picture right now, I have just taken a live picture. And if I turn this off, ping, now it stays off. But it only stays off until I turn off my camera. When I open it up again, it defaults to being on, and I'd have to remember always to turn it off. Most of us don't remember to constantly turn it on or off. So to keep it always off, you need to change that in the settings. Okay? Who found that their live feature was on, or who found that it was in a different place? Because in my other camera, the one I have here on the right, I actually have 2 or 3 different icons here. And when I click on them, a panel appears and one of the choices over here is live. So it just shows you a bit more, a few more options. Okay, not just the live or on or off. It just shows me the flash and the live and exposure and styles and a bunch of other stuff. Okay. Who wants to know how to turn it off? Is that an issue for you? Do you care? Hello, are people still there?
Yes, yes, yes. No,
I'm here.
I have mine turned off because I hate them.
Yeah. So where you need to
Ours
turn
just-
it off is in the camera settings. Okay, so let's head over to the computer settings on the phone. Not the computer settings, I apologize, the phone settings.
Oh,
phone settings. When you go to the main phone settings, and you start scrolling down, then you're going to see the camera right there.
Oh,
Okay,
I
give me
don't,
a
I
yes.
see.
Give me a yes when you found your phone settings and your camera.
I found my phone settings, but I don't show camera.
Okay, so go to the very top and do you see settings? Do you see your name? Do you see
See my
airport,
name,
Wi-Fi? Okay, keep going down.
and I go, but under general, it has control center, but it has general control center, display and brightness.
You don't see the camera there?
Oh,
It's possible then, and let me go see in the newer phone.
mine's a 7. I don't know if that makes a difference.
In my other phone, I have action button. No, keep going up and down. You should find it somewhere. And if not, go do a search here in the settings, do a search for camera, not the general phone search, but here, click on here on the search and write down camera, right? And it might be that in the 7, it was appearing somewhere else. And when this appears, just click on camera right there.
Oh, okay. It's got like, I typed in camera and a thing came up, camera privacy
Yeah, no camera, just the regular
and camera.
camera, not privacy. Okay, so once you're in camera, you have choices. And again, depending if it's a newer phone or an older phone or whatever phone you have going with you, it'll give you different choices. But ultimately, at the very top, it's showing you formats. Like this camera here only has 2 formats. My newer camera has like 5 or 7 different formats that I can do. Then as I go down, the important word that I'm looking for is preserve settings. Here, let me make
Okay.
clear drawings. Preserve settings. That's the one that we want to go to.
Okay.
Now, why does preserve settings matter? It's because, and let me turn on, I'm going to click on preserve settings now. So let me clear this little circle off. Because if you scroll down, I am preserving the settings for live photo. I turned it on. Now, what does that mean? It just means that I want my live photo settings to stay the way I leave them. So if I turn it off, I want it to stay off. If I turn it on, I want it to stay on. Does that make sense? That's what preserve setting means. So right now, if this is off, if this is not turned on, then every time I turn on my camera, live will be on. It's like defaults to on, defaults to on. And I have to turn it off each time. But if I turn it off, if I put this feature on here, it's not turning live photo on, it's turning on the fact that it will preserve the setting that I chose, which means when I go to my camera and turn the live off, it stays off unless I purposely turn it on. If I purposely turn it on, then it stays on. Does that make sense? So you can do that to any of these tools. I prefer to keep the rest on off and I choose when I want to do video or not. But if you're someone who only takes video and rarely takes photo, you might want to preserve the last camera mode to always shoot video because you know when you open the camera, it's always set on photo. Well, if you want it to be always set on video, you would turn this on, and then if you last thing you did was video, when you turn it on, it would already be on video. So that's what preserve setting means. It keeps the settings that you choose. I only choose to do that to my live photo because I want it always off. Okay. But you can explore the rest. So that's where
So preserve live photo setting rather than automatically reset to live photo.
yeah.
So you want it on?
So this has to be on so that now it will stay with what you chose, right? If you don't have this on, then automatically it resets always to live photo, and you don't want that. You want it to reset to what you chose last. So it's a hard one to understand the thought process, but what it means that now when you go to the camera, if you last left it on, it stays on. If you left it off, it stays off. So here I turn it off. If I'm going to leave it on right now, and I'm going to close my camera, boom, it's off. My camera's off. When I turn my camera on again, it's on because I left it on. if instead I turn it off when I close my camera because I'm done taking pictures, next time I open my camera, it's off. It preserved the last setting. So now live lives on off. But that's because I changed it in the settings. Does that make sense, you guys?
But you moved the dot over to the right and it turned green. So now
I
when I
turned
go
it
back,
on, and by turning this on, I am going to be able to keep it off in the camera. In the settings, I turn this on. It's a weird one. It basically says preserve. What I'm turning on is the preserve the photo setting that I last chose. So if I last chose off, it stays off now. That's what this means.
in my camera, I don't have a live option.
Yeah, well, setting, yeah. Live option existed in iPhone 7, yeah.
When you're turn your camera on in your phone.
Yeah. Look on the right or on the left, this little circle. You'll see it somewhere, and it's yellow when it's on, and then when it's off, it's off. You might have it on the left
Oh,
side.
it's up on the top and
Yeah.
it's yellow like a bullseye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's, yeah, that's your live photo.
Okay, there you turn it off. There you turn it back. Thank you. Oh dear. I've had this phone forever. I don't even know how to use it.
Yeah, well, that live feature is a bit weird. It's weird that you have to purposely turn it off. I don't know why they think it's so cool that they leave it on default on when in fact all it does is, yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. Okay. Let me look at the time.
The HDR high dynamic range, when you take one picture, it actually takes three. Is that what it means? Three different exposures?
Yeah. It exposes for light, for middle, and for dark. And so then it combines them.
So is that a good idea to leave on?
It depends. I like it. I like to turn it on when I need it. I don't like to have it on all the time. But sometimes you forget to have it on. So yeah. Um, I'm looking on this old phone where it might be. I don't know on the old phone. Does this phone have HDR? I'm not sure if the iPhone 10 has it because I don't see it here. Anyway, by the way,
Well, I
here,
have a 7.
yeah, so it should be there. So why am I not seeing it? By the way, this is the flash, which again, I have it on, off, or on, and this is where you make those choices. Again, I have another class where I'm going to be teaching handheld devices coming up in a few weeks, where I'm going to spend more time on different devices. Here, I'm doing my best to show you a few of these things, but see this tiny little arrow when you click on that arrow? See this? Look at me. That arrow. I'm going
Yeah.
to click on that. You guys keep your eyes on what happens here. Okay, when I click on this, something happens here. I'm in photo mode. I'm in photo mode. I'm going to click on this little arrow and look what happened down here. See that? I'm going to go and close this or open this. It goes from photo mode to these things. And what these things are is, again, the flash feature, again, the live feature, the ratio in which the photo is being taken, 4:3, or if I click on 4:3 here, I can choose to make it be a square photo or a 16:9. 16:9 is like movies, skinny and long sideways, square, or 4:3. Regular typical photo is 4:3, but that's where you choose that. Again, I close that from up here, open it from up there, and then click on that 4:3 if you want to make it a square photo without having to crop it, or a 16:9 without having to crop it. I kind of leave mine always on 4:3. Rarely would I change that. I'd rather have a photo that is supposed to be square. I'll crop it square myself, but if you like doing that, you can do that. To turn that off, you have to go back up here. Ding. And you're back in photo mode. Now I'm going to open that again, and the last choice
So
is the timer. So this is where you find the timer when you want to take a picture in 3, 2, 1, ding, for
Okay.
portraits. So that's your timer.
Don't get that arrow.
Let me undo some of those circles, but there's your timer. You can click on 10 seconds, gives you time to run back, pose, and then still take the picture. But again, that's how I activate those, by clicking on that arrow. Okay. And the last one is if you want to put any filters on your photos, which I never put filters on my photos. Some people always put filters on their photos. So that's what filters mean. And I don't look like this phone. You can may point to something. You can make something look more vivid, more warmer, blue. So look at the colors here. See how my colors are changing?
Yeah.
And what's changing is that I'm flipping through these to show you different versions. So I
Yeah,
can
I
take
have
a
that
picture in
one.
black and white, right? I can take it in mono. I can take it in. So I just took that picture there, that one in dramatic cool, this one in dramatic warm, this one in vivid warm, and then this one in original. So when I go show you these 5 photos,
Mm.
it's the same exact situation.
Oh,
Here's all my photos, and when I go see my photos, um, I just took all these photos there.
mm.
I took it in black and white. I took it in vivid cool, vivid warm, and normal. So that's all different versions of the same exact photo with filters on,
I
right?
still can't find
So
it.
I prefer not to have filters on and do all of that later in the editing process. But if sometimes you like that, then there you go. That's how you do it, by turning on the filters right there.
Mine
Try
doesn't.
to keep it in original so that my photos are in original. If I leave it right now in dramatic cool or mono, then if my feature was preserved settings, it will always take in that, right? So you want to keep it defaulting to original and only do that. Oh my God, another mosquito. Where are these things coming from? I've scoured the area and I don't see standing water anywhere. Okay, sorry. That was a good one. This time I caught it. Last time I hadn't caught it. Okay, so that's the features on the camera. My other phone, my other camera also has a thing called spatial. Spatial is for, does anyone own one of those viewers where you can see 3D? Anyone here owns a 3D viewer? No, you don't even know what I'm talking about.
No, I don't.
Take a
Tell.
photo in spatial mode. You can then view it through one of those things and you would see it like 3D, movies when they made us put all those pictures. So basically avoid spatial mode and taking pictures in spatial mode if you don't have one of those creatures, because you can't, that photo just looks like a photo if you see it and you take a picture in spatial mode. But if you put it and view it in one of those special viewers, then you would see it in 3D. Okay. Like depth of field and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, and then the last thing is what was the last thing? Cinematic. Okay. So those of you who have cinematic mode that I have in my newer camera, it's a mode where you can take normal video or cinematic video, and cinematic video is equivalent to portrait. So I'm going to explain portrait feature first, and then you'll understand cinematic mode. So it's the portrait feature, but in video mode. So let me go back to my Photos app. I'm back on the computer, guys. So everyone look at your computer.
Grade 30.
Okay, back in computer mode. I'm going to show you portrait mode. So portrait mode, first let me show you the effect of portrait mode, then I'm going to show you in the camera what portrait mode means. So when you choose, instead of photo, you choose portrait to make your photos in, what you're wanting to do is to get a faked by the camera, sometimes well, sometimes not so well, but what you want is to change the depth of field. Now, sometimes it's really useful and sometimes it's not, but let me show you an example of a photo taken in portrait mode. So this was taken in portrait mode. Is it a portrait? Is it a person? A lot of people think, oh, it needs to be a portrait. No, no, no. It's a mode. And what portrait mode does is it allows me to alter the depth of field and where the focus is. So in this case, the trees look like they're more in focus than the plant. By the way, this plant might be a bit too close. I'm going to check it, but more typically, here you have a person and a background. So the best use of portrait mode is when you have a front and a back, like this and that, okay? Front and back. Let me show you one that's not me. I don't know. Portrait. Somewhat mute Barbara. Okay. So here, this was taken in portrait mode, and there's a lot of different people. Okay. So let's try with this one. Well, no, let me try with one that's very obvious first, and then we're going to go to one that's less obvious. Okay. So here we go. Front and back and further back, right? All right. So right now it just looks like a photo. That's all it is. But I'm going to go into this edit mode. And I'm going to teach you much more about the edit mode when we do editing. But right now, I'm just going to show you where does portrait mode matter. I'm going to hit to edit mode. And at the top of edit mode, you see this choice up here that appears with portrait. And right now, my phone is setting it's on off. But look at my photo when I start moving it to the right. What's happening to the stuff in the background? And I went all the way to the left.
Way out of focus.
See how it's out of focus? So it changes the depth of field from everything is in focus. Yes, yes. From everything is in focus to only a little bit out of focus behind me to even more out of focus to completely out of focus. Now, if I want people to know that I'm in Lisbon, this one I wouldn't want to put out of focus. But what if I don't care and I wanted to make more out of focus? Now, here's the thing. I'm going to put it somewhere in the very back, which is too much, but I'm going to show you the difference. One more thing. You change that and see how I have like a yellow square around my nose? That's what
Yeah.
the computer is prioritizing as the focus. But what if I instead clicked on the word Lisbon? Now the focus is in Lisbon and not on the face. Or if I click back here on the skies. Now these are two very distinct choices, and I'm going really out of focus to really in focus. So for it to be obvious, but there's some comfortable place in between for some other photos. So I'm going to say revert to original, and I'm going to go show you another photo where those kind of decisions are a bit more subtle. So for example, I believe this one that I took the other day. Yeah. So this one I took the other day here. This is 2 days ago, sunset, low King's Tide up in
Gorgeous.
this is East Beach, yeah. So this one, no matter what I do you see much of a change here?
No.
Yeah, because all of it is focused on the far. If I
Yeah.
click over here to focus on the beginning of the grass, there's not the sand, there's nothing to focus on. That did go soft, see, from that to that. But the setting was in portrait mode, but there was no use for it because what's the point of making this in focus when there's nothing here? I mean, so it was one of those, well, the camera was in portrait mode because I had just done a portrait mode photo and I left it in portrait mode. And then suddenly it's not useful to have the portrait mode because really the only place you want the focus is in the back. So I'm just saying, just because you took it in portrait mode doesn't make the photo much better or much different. But there's other places where the photo is too busy and you actually want to hide the background. So this is one of my favorite photos of this whole trip of me. And I love me sitting in this little dilapidated chair with some wings that were on the chair. And I love this photo. And I like it the way it is, but it happens to be also in portrait mode. So I could make it less busy. So if I go to edit mode and I begin to blur the depth, you see how the background got less blurry, less sharp. So
Yes.
when I do that, I get to see me a bit more with that a bit more blurry. So this is more of an example of when it could work if it was busy. Now, this isn't a bad background. I actually like it. But what if this was cars in a parking lot or a trash can? You know what I mean? Or some kids running around so then you can just blur that background so it's not so bothersome, right? Or I'm going to click back here and now that's in focus and I'm out of focus. Or I'm going to click in here and I'm in focus and that's out of focus. Does that make sense? So that's, and I'm going to revert to original again and keep widget. In the original mode, it's off. Okay. Um, all right. That's kind of, for the most part, again, if I want the background, the whole point of this photo is that I was there, right? I walked to Santiago Compostela. I don't want to blur it. But if I wanted to blur it, then that makes for a good photo, right? But in this case, I wanted to say I made it. I got here, so I don't want to blur it. But I have the choice to blur it or not blur it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's what that's all about. So many times it is useful, and I don't have many examples here of it being a busy photo that I don't want because, I'm the photographer and I take care of those things. But now and then it might be, is there an example of when you don't want the background? Yeah, most of these are me wanting the background, but an example of when is, for example, this photo. Oh, and this one isn't working. Hold on.
I have some red flowers like that. I don't know what they are.
Okay, my class is supposed to be over. I had one of these. It's not showing me the adjustment, the portrait modes. So here's an example where it's hard to see the photos and the background. They're all kind of mushed up, right? Like the flowers in the background are in the same. So this is an example where if I were to bring it down, now I'm seeing the flowers better. You see that? Now it can get a bit crazy, but yeah, you can make all those grasses be a little bit softer so that you see the flowers better. Does that make sense? So this is more of an example of, yeah, making the photo hopefully a little bit better by moving the background. If I go too far, then too much of it is blurred out. It looks too fake. The stem starts to go. You have to be careful that it can get really fake. Now, when I talked about cinematic focus being the same, but in the photos version of it, so cinematic video, the last feature that I haven't explained, the cinematic video is oh, here's a good example of, again, do I want which, if I go over here, I can make that be in focus or I can make that be in focus. But in this case, you can really isolate the rest if it was bothersome. In this case, I wanted that, but anyway. So in the cinematic mode, the video follows you, follows focus. In regular video, if you take a video, everything is in focus pretty much. But in cinematic mode video, those of you who have a camera who can do that, and I think it's 15, 16, and 17. I don't think you can do it in 14, but for sure you can do it in 15. Then you can like focus on a person who's walking, and as you keep videoing that person walking, the rest you can blur out and keep the person in focus. Okay, so that's cinematic mode of video. The problem with cinematic mode, and I have some videos that I took with this camera, which I didn't make, I should bring one over, is that I was photographing a choir singing, and then someone stood up and walked towards me, and my whole choir just blurred out, and the person who was walking towards me, I guess to go to the bathroom or something, suddenly became in focus. They walked away, and then the choirs again, and I couldn't control it because whatever walks in front becomes the focus, right? So it's good, and it's also a little bit it's still automatic, so it decides to focus wherever it wants to focus. Anyway, that's cinematic video mode, which I don't have to show it here because this camera can't do cinematic mode. I have requested a new phone. The school has to purchase a new phone for me. It hasn't happened yet. Hopefully by spring I will have a new one where I can show some more of these features. All right. So guys, everyone knows now how to photograph or video one of the different versions of everything that you have. And remember, if you're going to take a portrait mode, look for something that has foreground and background so that when you take that picture, it makes sense, right? To see it going in and out for portrait mode, and the same with cinematic mode. If you have the camera, you can do cinematic mode, do that. And then the rest of them, you saw long, slow, take something that's really fast or really slow. Just, yeah. Most of you guys do the rest of it. And the animated version that I had here, the last thing I want to show, I see your hand up. Give me 1 more second. I'm going to show one more thing, and then I will be done. We have just 2 more minutes, is RAW. So RAW, and this is only for people who are going to then post-process their photos like in Photoshop or something like that, where you can get a lot more out of your photos. It's a setting in your phone where you choose to shoot in RAW. And that means that the initial photo won't look as good as the other photos that are saved as JPEG, but the computer won't automatically process them. So this photo I can now take into Photoshop and process it to get a better photo than I would had I not taken it in RAW. So it's going to give me a humongous photo in comparison. So here I have, let me go into regular library so you can see RAW and not RAW sizes. So here I have a photo that is not RAW, right? And it's a 1.1 megabyte photo. And here I have a photo that is RAW, and it's 16.9, basically 17 megabytes. And this one is 1 megabyte. And it's the same amount of pixels, for those of you who understand that. It's just 17 versus 1, so much bigger. It takes up so much space in my phone in comparison to this one. So you really need to have a good reason to take a photo in RAW. And it's because you really are tending to process it and make it like really become the best photo ever, because otherwise it's worse. Literally, it's worth, 17 of a regular photo. This one was 1.6 megabytes. This one here is 18 megabytes. That's not RAW. This is RAW. Okay. So that said, if I go into Photoshop, I can grab this photo. Again, it's from the other day. No, this one's from October 24th. I can grab this photo and keep processing it to make, an even more amazing photo, which I have more leeway to do that than if I had taken a regular JPEG. But so you're only going to turn the feature on whenever you need it. So here's my camera. And how do you turn that feature on? I go back to my camera. When I go to photo mode, in this older camera, I can't turn it on and off willy-nilly. I have to go to the settings and in the formats, tell it, no, not in the formats, in the oh, no, this is iPhone 10. I can't take RAWs in the 10. That's true. You can only take RAW in, I believe, starting 12. I think in the 12 you could take RAW over. Anyway, by the way, this is the HDR that Barbara was asking me about. So you couldn't do it. Okay, so I can't show you how to do RAW in here, but in cameras that are 12 or higher, then in the camera itself, up here, if you enable it, it will give you the choice here on the left side. It'll give you the choice, and you click on that to choose in JPEG, HEIB, or RAW. Just like here, you can turn flash on and off, or you can turn the live, on and off. There's a feature right here that helps you shoot in RAW or not in RAW. So you do that when you're about to shoot, and then you can go photograph that beautiful sunset. Say, oh, I might want to really work this one later in Photoshop. So you put it on RAW, you take those photos, but then you turn it off RAW for the rest because you don't want to take a picture of your you know, whatever other pictures you take that you're just going to look at once in RAW, because they really take up a humongous amount of space in your computer. And JPEGs are more than fine enough photos. You don't really need RAW unless you're going to post process them. All right.
What?
If everyone's on their camera, if you have an iPhone 12 and newer, you can choose it. If you don't have a 12 and newer, you can't choose it.
I have a little thing that looks like a moon there.
That's night shooting or day shooting. That's true. This camera doesn't have it either. So when you set it in night shooting, then that allows you, thanks for asking me these questions because I don't have it in that camera. So when you show it, when it's nighttime and you put it in night setting, you have to keep it very still. You can be in a really dark place, not black, but in a very dark place that where your eyes can still see, something. If you hold the camera really still and you shoot and night shooting, it's gonna like do a long exposure. So it's gonna let a lot of time the camera open and you have to keep very still. And when you finally hear it go click, the might be 2 seconds. Finally, the camera is done. Then when it's done, it gives you the photo and you'll see that it's pretty brightly lit. It's like, oh, it looks like it's almost a normal light in there because it takes all that light and it recreates it. Now, sometimes
Normally, do you not, does it turn the night shooting on and off by itself?
you touch it to turn it on or off.
Okay.
So it doesn't go automatically on or off until you touch it. When you turn it on, go to some darker area and take a picture, and you'll see the darker it is, the longer it takes, right? So if you click and move, it doesn't work. You need to click and hold it while it captures the light, and then you'll hear it go click like it finished, and that's the photo. So stay as still as you can, or put it against something, against the wall or against something so that you can hold it tight. And then you press go, and it has a way to stay still. And you get a good picture of really, really dark scenes.
So
Most of the time, it'll be more like in between light, and it takes a better shot.
would it give you the features, the face in the moon?
George, I'm sorry, I'm keep answering you, but Martha's hand was up for a bit, but that's okay. The moon is hard to photograph. There's so many reasons why it's hard to photograph, depending on the humidity between you and the moon and this and that. But sometimes there's so many different tricks of how to make a good photo of a moon. I wish I could teach you more about taking pictures, but this isn't that class.
Well,
And
I
no,
wondered.
the night mode actually doesn't work well for moon because just quick answer, no, because what it'll do is it'll lighten up the sky till it looks almost lightish blue, and then the moon is one bright sphere. So the night mode is to lighten the dark stuff, and the moon is very bright. It's being illuminated by the sun, and the sky is dark. So you actually need the opposite. You need to lower the exposure to get a good mood, not the night mode. It's the exact opposite, which seems weird because it's called night mode, but it's the exact it's to take the environment around you that's too dark and make it lighter. But
Thank you.
okay. Marta, yes.
So if I forgot to turn off live mode or raw, can I somehow convert those to just a JPEG, or I'm stuck with them?
Once
Or do a
they're
screenshot, I
no,
guess.
yes, you can in Photoshop and things like that, but in this mode, no. In the camera and here you can't. Yeah, no.
But I could do it in Lightroom.
Lightroom, yeah. But the thing is, you'd convert it and you'd get a lesser quality picture. So if you know how to use Lightroom or Photoshop, why would you, right? If you don't know how to use them, then you can't. And if you know how to use them, you want to use a raw image. So yes, but you could grab a whole batch of photos that you didn't mean to do raw, and you can do a batch. At least you can in Photoshop and Bridge. I'm not sure in Lightroom if you can batch. Yeah, I think you can batch a whole bunch and take them all to turn them back into JPEG. Then you would have to delete all the raws to make space in your phone, right? Or in your computer.
Right. And the live, you're stuck with live?
And you're stuck with live, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Just keep an eye on your camera more when you're shooting and take care of those things as you're shooting to make sure that you never go off. So yeah, sometimes I have raw photos that I really didn't mean to be in raw, and I'm like, oh, I forgot. And then other times I'm taking some gorgeous photos, and at the end of it, I go, oh shoot, I forgot to turn raw on. It's like, oh, and there's moments gone, the places you can't just go back and reshoot it, the sunset is gone. Anyway, all right. So guys, any other questions?
Yes, I have a quick question. So
Yeah.
on live photos, it's several photos, right?
No,
No.
it's a little video.
Oh, okay, that's right, the little video.
Mhm.
So on Burst, you said we can choose one and delete the rest. Can we do that on live photo?
No, because it's a video. It's not really photos. It's a video.
Okay.
Burst is a bunch of photos. Video is video. And unfortunately, it doesn't open up as a video in edit mode for you to be able to um, a video in edit mode you can clip because it is a video. But a live photo is that in between thing where it's a live photo, but if you open it in video, I mean, that's not true. You can clip it. That's true. You can clip it. I'll show you, here, I'll show you really quickly. It's just that I haven't shown you how to edit video yet. But for those of you who know how to edit video, if you don't know, when we get to video, you'll see that. But if I go to a live photo, right? That wasn't meant to be live. When I double click on it, what's the live? There it is. Car passed in front of me. That's it. That's what that live was. And I didn't know what. So if I go to edit mode, I can edit it as a photo, but I can also edit it as a video right here, right? And so I can go ahead and clip it down to have it be just one photo. But if you don't know how to edit video, let's leave it for when I show you how to edit videos, okay? But yes, ultimately you can open them all up and edit them, but doing what I just did doesn't eliminate it per se. You'd have to then save it as a new clip and then delete the new one. Which if you have 10 live photos, you can do that. But if you have 3,000 live photos because you didn't know and you left it on for years, then you basically have to live with them because you're not going to do that to all of them. Which is when the live feature first started, I didn't know how to turn it off. And I have thousands of photos and I'm like, oh, what is this thing? You're stuck with them,
Hey, thank you.
really a one-on-one thing, and it's not worth it. So yeah. Okay. I think that's it. It's not my share. Guys, I'll see you on Wednesday. We're going to get into all of this is what the phones do for us. As far as of Wednesday, we start doing our own albums, our own organization, our own editing, our own keyword, and our own searching. So it's like, how do I find all these photos when I want to pinpoint something myself and I really want something myself? And that's what we're doing as of
Anna, did you mean Monday?
Monday. You're right. Thank you. Talk about someone who hasn't had problems in my brain and I still can't get Monday and Wednesday right. Today is Wednesday. Next class. Like I should start. I tried to do my best to say Monday, Wednesday, and get it wrong always. It's always next class or last class. Okay. Whenever we meet again. All right.
Thank you. I was going to ask you a question, but time is so short. So maybe next Monday.
Well, ask it quickly. And if it's a quick answer, fine. If it's a long answer, I'll get to it on Monday.
When I turn on my laptop to go to this, what do you call this again? Photos, there will be music and something that I did not turn on. And I don't know why that is.
Oh, yeah, the memories and stuff.
Yeah.
The other day we talked about memories. You weren't here, and I know because I had a photo that had you in it, and I looked around, you and my mom, and I looked around, and you weren't there. Ask me again next week, and I'll show it to you again how to turn the music off if you don't want it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. See you in a little bit.
Yeah. Some of you guys in 15 minutes.
Bye.
Bye.